Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Millville Commission meeting for May 16th, 2017. The time is approximately 6:33. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Santiago?
Here.
Commissioner Ennis?
Here.
Commissioner Davis?
Here.
Commissioner Paraka-Campari?
Here.
And Commissioner Sui?
Here.
Reverend Jack? Yes, sir. Is he here? Okay, come on up, please. Can we all stand, please? Paul Sperner, I'm sorry.
That's okay, sir. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day you've given us. We thank you for the opportunity that we could be out here tonight. Lord, I just ask you to be with this council as they make decisions to assist the city, Lord, that you just might give them wisdom, that you just might give them unity. Lord, I just ask you for some of the situations that are going on in the city, Lord, that I just wish you would reach down your hand and just help them. I just ask you to be with our fire, our EMS, and our police as they have to respond to these situations, that you just might keep them safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
Stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Jack Crossburner. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975, was advertised and posted and made available to the public as required by law. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Before we get started, we have a nice presentation from Lakeside school students from the AVID program. Oh, come on up, please. I got to take my phone out so I can get all these names. Mrs. Hallenbach will come up and give us a nice presentation. Now, you know, about a month or so ago, I had the opportunity to go to Lakeside and saw some of these students perform, and it was outstanding. It's a great program, and I think it's a program that we need to recognize because it's coming from our students. So I can congratulate the teachers, the school principal. I know Mr. Spike Cook is here. And so we congratulate you guys and ladies for what you've done with these students. So, Ms. Hallenbach, go ahead. Step up to the mic. Yeah, we can go down here.
Good evening. I am Kim Hallenbeck. I am a counselor at Lakeside Middle School, and I'm also the AVID District Director. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. So all of our students that are in our AVID program go through a rigorous application process to be chosen for AVID. They are all college prep students, which means that they are preparing for a 4-year college or university upon graduation from high school. So these are students that are average grades. Sometimes we have some self-esteem that we work on with them, but for the most part, we are their support all through school, and our goal is to get them to a 4-year college or university. One of those parts of what we do with AVID involves our community service, because any of you that have attended college or applied to college know that those community service hours mean a lot for our college applications, and it also means a lot towards our future goals of what we want to do when we grow up, what our careers are going to be. So we're going to present to you tonight some community service projects that we've worked on this year, both at our middle school and our high schools. And I have some students here and some staff that are going to present as well. So we're going to start with our high school students. I have 2 of them here. I have Ryan Brown and Emily Rothgeb. They are both juniors in our AVID program, and they've been in AVID for many years. So if you want to come up, they're going to explain a couple things that we've done. But I'll start. Okay. We had a neighborhood community day that was held in August, and our students volunteered their time to help give out backpacks and school supplies to area students. And like I said, this was at the end of August, so we gave a lot of time that day. And you can see us there. I think it was 3rd Street or 4th Street that this was held. Okay. Emily and Ryan are going to talk about our Adopt a Road program.
Okay, so we did adopt a road, and it was just a Saturday that we all just went out and we were cleaning up the, which road is that?
Broad Street.
Broad Street. So we just went up both sides and we were picking up trash. And while we were picking up trash, a lot of people like to stop and they were thanking us for helping make like Millville cleaner and a better place. And we had like all our trash bags were full, so we each had like our own full trash bag, and we almost had like to get a second trash bag. So it was nice, and the city supplied us with supplies to pick up the trash. Another volunteer event we did was the Alzheimer's Walk, which the weather was really nasty, but it was also really nice to go out and support the people that were walking. A lot of people like to stop and thank us for coming out, even though it was rainy. When I left, I was soaked and I had to go home and take a shower. But like when the people were walking, they like to thank us for putting like our time. Like we didn't have to go out there, but it was nice that we went out there and supported them, and we supported finding a cure to Alzheimer's. So that was nice.
In the wintertime, believe this was in December, we paired with Mike McNiss and did the cleanup of an alleyway. I believe it was on Dock Street. So he supplied us with everything that we needed. He had the garbage truck there, and our kids cleaned up the alleyway. So this is just some of those pictures there as well. The before and after. Yeah, that was a whole morning. All right, thank you. And then our Lakeside students participated in some different activities. I have one student here, Alyssa. There's Alyssa. Come on up, Alyssa. Alyssa Kincaid is going to talk to you about our JDRF program.
For the past 6 years, Lakeside AVID has run our school's Kids Walk to raise money to help find a cure for type 1 diabetes. Each year we have raised over $5,000 to help with research into curing this disease. This year we raised over $6,000. In addition to raising money for this great cause, we have learned about type 1 and type 2 diabetes and how it can affect our lives and the lives of our friends and family. We are proud of our efforts and plan to continue to support this cause each year.
Our sixth graders are participating in the Mars River Community Garden. So our students have come about. We've had some people come in from the community and talk to them about food chains and native species that are here in our area. And they voted on the type of plants that they wanted to grow. So we have them in starter pots right at the moment in our classroom. And we are watering them every day, and they are growing beautifully, actually. They're going to be going in pretty soon. But the goal of this garden project was to support the local environment and provide some beautiful scenery downtown. And the kids chose plants that would attract bees and butterflies. So this is another one of our projects that we have going. Mrs. Bergman is going to talk to us about her front door project that she started last summer. Mrs. Bergman is one of our teachers at Lakeside and one of our AVID site team members.
Hello, good evening. So it's a long story, but let's just put it this way. Somehow I came up with the idea that I paint furniture in the summer because I'm a teacher and I have summers off, so I like to refinish furniture. When going on a walk with my son one day in my development, I noticed that a lot of people were painting their front doors, and it just kind of like brightened up the development, the town as a whole. So I started thinking, as a teacher, I feel like it's really hard for us sometimes to get outside of the actual building itself and get into the community, especially people like myself that don't live in Millville. Unfortunately, sometimes the contact that we have with parents is not always necessarily positive contact, and I really wanted to kind of bridge that gap physically. So being that I had a lot of paint laying around my garage, and I was like, well, this is really simple. This is something that I can do. I don't need money. I don't need anybody besides myself and my time, and I can go down and offer to paint people's front doors, which sounds silly, kind of, and very minuscule, but in a big picture, I figured if we focused on certain streets and, I would show up with the paint, they chose the color right then and there, what do you want? and I'd put in the time and I would paint their doors for free. Well, I got Lowe's to donate front door locks and front door handles. So I can also replace front door locks and front door handles that have been broken for free. I built a website. So if you go on the website, you can schedule it right there. It goes right to my phone. It syncs with my Google Calendar. And basically, what it looks like is I come to your house. Sometimes there's a student with me. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's staff. This is me and some of our staff from the building. Like I said, originally the idea was to get the teachers out in the community so that you can see us out there helping you guys, fixing up the streets, not just, at our desks grading papers, which isn't the highlight of our job. The highlight of our job is meeting your children and getting to get that relationship with the community. So a lot of students volunteered as well, including AVID students, and we're starting it up again this spring. We finished this fall. But it was a great experience. I got to know a lot of people. The thing I would tell people is, we don't have to come into your house. We're just painting your front door. We have to crack it, obviously, because we want the paint to dry. But you can't ignore me if I'm painting your front door for 5 hours. It's not an easy thing to do. So I'm not forcing my way into your house, but I'm kind of going to be forcing you into conversation just because I'm a talkative person. And if I'm there with some of my colleagues or some of the students, it's nice for us to kind of share information, oh, what's going on over here? Oh, this is what we're doing at the school. This is Mr. So-and-so, might be names that you've only seen on your student schedule. And now you actually see them, repairing your house and on your street. So I'll be handing out flyers. We're doing a beautification day with the Millville City Project. And I'll be handing out flyers then. Also the website, if you go on this website, it's up to date. There's separate pages, one to book a painting, one to book a door handle and lock replacement. Again, everything's completely free. All you have to do is sign up and then be there when I show up bright and early. But I hope you guys check it out. It's 100% free, and I'll be at a couple of the community things, the play streets and things like that, handing out more information if you need it, and that's the contact. I don't think there's another page. Yeah, that's it. All right, thank you.
And another one of our teachers, Jennifer Cuesta, is going to come up and talk to us about her project. She did a nice community link with Bogarts, so she's going to talk to you about that.
Good evening, everybody. So I'm an avid fan of Bogarts. It is my favorite store to go to in Millville, and it's a great place for students to read. Their books are really priced well, and with doing book talks and doing independent reading with my students all the time, I'm always encouraging them to go there. So then I came up with this idea that maybe if we had a meeting there, that students would become more comfortable with going to Bogarts. So I met with the owner in July, and she expressed to me that she was having difficulty even getting teens and kids to patronize or to go to her store. So we came up with the idea that on Saturdays for an hour, I'd invite students to come in and hang out and do crafts with them, and they would become more comfortable within the bookstore. And it's been really, really successful. We meet once a month. I usually have between 10 to 30 between teachers and staff, parents, and it's a good time to hang out with everybody and get to really know the students. As you can see, there's some things that we're doing. A lot of AVID students come out and support the project, and it's been pretty successful. So, yeah. And if you guys are interested, June 3rd is our last Lightning Strikes Bogart, so please come out and hang out with us. Thank you.
One of the big projects we had this year that started actually back in August was our link with the Millville Neighborhood Alliance. So it was a collaborative effort. Dr. Cook had gotten some information to the AVID program about the Millville Neighborhood Alliance, and their goal was to get into our schools and start working with our students on community service projects. It was mostly a project-based learning project, which we do in AVID all the time, so it was just a perfect marriage. So monthly we would bring those two groups together. We bring the students together with the teachers. I don't know what that is. And the Neighborhood Alliance would come in and we would do different get-to-know-you activities. One of the highlights was they had Larry Murigi, a local architect, come in and talk to them about design thinking and project-based learning in the real world. So the students were charged with identifying a problem within the community. They had to research and gather information about the problem and how they would solve it. The Neighborhood Alliance came in and assisted the students with their presentations and perfecting their proposals. And their goal was to present their solution to the Neighborhood Alliance. The mayor was there that day. Some of our commissioners were there as well. And we did it in a Shark Tank format. So if you've ever seen that show, it was really cool. So the kids came up and they did their proposals. They had, presentations ready to go, and they were vying for who was going to win. It was really a good experience for everybody. We were also featured on SNJ. So that was one of the highlights as well. So our winners, a couple of our winners are here tonight to talk to us about the project that they have going right now. Trista Cleaves and Abigail Stidham. They're both 8th grade AVID students. So they're going to come up and talk to you, but before they do, I just wanted to let you know that although their project won, Dr. Gentile was there as well when the kids did their Shark Tank presentations, and Dr. Gentile was able to fund all of the projects. So we're very fortunate to have the support of our superintendent as well.
Good evening. My name is Trista Cleaves. I'm in the 8th grade, and I'm a part of AVID. Tonight, I will be telling you about my project that my group presented to the Millville Neighborhood Alliance, or M&A for short. My project is called Academic Academy, and my group's project, along with another from our class, was kind of fused together into a video that we will be showing you in a bit to apply for a grant. However, without the grant, our project would be hosted out of Lakeside Middle School, our home of our very own Lakeside Lightning. This after-school program would be used to help further students' education as well as give them opportunities to learn about possible careers. This would also include a study hall during lunch, if at all possible. We would like to have high schoolers come, and peers would be available for assistance. With the grant, we would be able to partner with the other group, which we wanted to create an after-school hangout. This project would be held at the library and would hold a study group and other events and activities. Thank you for your
time. Hello, my name is Abigail. I'm in 8th grade. In AVID, we have been working on a project over the past months, working in our chosen groups trying to accomplish our goal. The group that I was in was trying to solve a problem. That was to create a positive graffiti. We've been working together, creating a PowerPoint so we could present it to the judges. Our plan was to go to City Park and clean up the bad graffiti and trade it in with our graffiti. We thought this would create a positive effect and just make the kids and people who go there feel safe. After working on this, Trista and I were chosen to go after school for a grant for Millville. We worked on creating a video with Mr. Perry and the librarian talking about why we want this grant and how it can help us. We wanted to go after school to the Millville Public Library Monday through Thursday and help their homework and other studies, and just receive the academic assistance. Then on Friday, we can have a fun and safe place to hang out.
Okay. They were very fortunate to be able to work with one of our dynamic teachers. His name is Mr. Larry Perry, and he is amazing with a video camera. And he was able to put together a video so that we could compete for the grant. So we encourage people to go on and vote for our school and for our idea so that we could win. The voting ended on Friday, and we should be finding out soon if we won or not. So cross your fingers. But we want to show you this awesome video that our kids put together with the help of Mr. Perry.
We envision a place where students can go after school to receive extra help on their homework so they can improve their grades and further their education. We would call it an academic academy.
When our city was first founded in 1795, Millville housed numerous mills and factories. In fact, Millville became a leader in the glass industry, creating a thriving economy for its residents. However, over the years, the industry in Millville has declined. Businesses have shut down, and buildings have been abandoned. According to an economic assessment of the city of Millville, this is one of the most economically distressed municipalities municipalities in New Jersey. In fact, 65% of the students in Millville received free or reduced lunches. I am one of those students.
We feel the answer to recovering our economy is by furthering our education. We can start right now. We have an idea of the perfect place we can go after school to find assistance with our homework. The Millville Public Library is willing to set up a room where we can meet Mondays through Thursdays to help their studies. Cumberland County College is willing to supply tutors to our education majors who will have the ability to guide, support, and mentor those of us who need help. On Fridays, the library will have an open activity day so we can come together and have a safe and fun place outside of school. The college will also be available to give our peers guidance on any careers that we may be interested in. This is the perfect time for us to begin thinking about our future.
The final piece of the puzzle would be receiving funding from this grant to make our plan a reality. With this money, the Millville Public Library and other community partners will be able to provide school supplies, transportation, fun activities, snacks, and even more opportunities for our peers every week.
Our school, Lakeside Middle School, has a very diverse population with diverse educational needs. Lakeside Middle School is an AVID National Demonstration School. AVID is a college readiness system dedicated to closing the achievement gap by preparing all students for college and career readiness. The AVID elective class at Lakeside helps prepare all students for future success, especially targeting students who are underrepresented in higher education. There is a larger need for our entire student body to be encouraged and supported by their community. The library and Cumberland County College are willing to partner together to help us make our dreams a reality.
We would like to thank everyone here at Lakeside Middle School, including Dr. Cook, Mr. Perry, the students, faculty, and AVID program for helping us create and develop this impressive idea. Also, thank you to Cumberland County College, Millville Neighborhood Alliance, USA Today, and Southwest Council for giving us a chance to make this plan possible. We, the students of Lakeside Middle School, want a bright future. Our future starts with our education. Only you can make this happen for us. Vote today.
So we thank you. We thank you for allowing us to present this evening. We thank Mayor Santiago for inviting us this evening. We thank Dr. Gentile, who's here, our superintendent, and Dr. Cook, our middle school principal, and all of our staff and students and parents that have attended. Thank you so much.
Before you leave, I'm sure there's commissioners have any comments. Commissioner Sui?
Well, it was just, I talked to Mike McNiss when the AVID program for the senior high was working with us to clean the alleys, and he said what a great job you guys did, and how much work you accomplished, and we hope to do that again, and hope to again be able to give you a check for that to support your activities from the Clean Communities grants.
Commissioner Ennis?
I just want to compliment all of you for doing a great job. Job well done.
Thank you.
Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, I participated in the Play Streets fun and games last summer with the AVID and the nonprofits and a couple other, the clergy. And it was a good time. I'm sure we'll do it again this summer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Perry?
I'm very impressed by what a great range of activities you all came up with. I mean, very impressive. Really helped to clean up the community. I'm intrigued by the door painting because we're trying to do some of those things with the abandoned houses, and I would love to talk to you sometime about some ideas for those because I think it really does make a difference in the neighborhood. But all the kids, very impressive. It really gives me a lot of hope for the future of Millville. Thank you.
Once again, what outstanding. If we want to start fighting crime, it starts here with the youth. Give them an opportunity to grow from where they're at now, and that's what you're doing with this program. So outstanding job to the teachers, to the school. You're doing a fantastic job, and I know it's going to continue. But before we go, I want to thank Dr. Gentile. I know he's in the audience. Dr. Moore, raise your hand. I know you're back there. We have Principal Spike Cook from Lakeside Middle School. Of course, Miss Hallenbach. Also, Miss Beth Benfer in the back. I think she was. So raise your hand. Also, Miss Bergman and Cuesta. Outstanding. I think that's just great what you're doing, and it's something that we didn't know about. Anybody here know about this? Anybody in the crowd know about this? No one knew about this. Not too many people did. Okay. All right, we got 2 or 3 hands of people that knew this. So this is a great opportunity, and I'm glad that we were able to bring you up and you're able to at least present it to all of us. And then there's students here. I have Alyssa Kincaid, Trista Cleves, Abigail Stedham, Emily, help me with the last name.
Rothkep.
Okay, thank you. Ryan Brown. So all these students were involved, so we congratulate you. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you were able to present this. And Millville, open your eyes. This is what our kids are doing in school. All right, they're not hanging out on the corners. They're going to the library. They're going to Bogarts. They're painting doors. Let's start thinking about positive things instead of negative things. So my hat to you guys. I tip it. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, girls and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, I think I need Officer Cott. Chief, come on up. And Officer Taylor, come on up, please. Sue Taylor. So on the 22nd of May, these 3 individuals are going to be recognized by the State Attorney General's office in Piscataway, New Jersey. They've been selected by a group out of Rutgers University for their involvement in the community and community policing. And this is throughout the state. I'll be in attendance along with the 3. It's a great award. It's something that we need to be proud of as the city of Millville. I know they're proud of it. So what I like to do is I like to present them with a certificate, and it reads this: State of New Jersey, Office of Attorney General, Department of Law and Public Safety, Office of Community Justice. This certificate of appreciation is awarded to Chief Jody Farabella in recognition for your efforts serving the Cumberland County Positive Youth Development Coalition. Now remember, this is a coalition that groups from Millville, Vineland, Bridgeton, the Sheriff's Department, the Prosecutor's Office get together and come up with ideas for our youth. What you just saw with this AVID program is just another leg of what this coalition is doing. So Chief, I'm proud that you're getting this award. I will be there on Monday. I'm sure it's going to be a bigger festivity than this, but congratulations for a great job. See which one's next here. Officer Sue Taylor. Just to give you a little background with Sue, Sue has been in many departments within the police department, traffic, patrol, but what she's doing now with Officer Cott is our PAL program dealing with the youth in our schools. You go to any of these schools and you mention Sue Taylor's name or Officer Cott's name, these kids know who they are because they're in there. They're talking to them. I can tell you that they have a library of names in their phones where these kids reach out to them. Is that true or not true? So, you know, these 2 individuals here as police officers not only are enforcing the law, but are reaching our kids. And that's what's important. And they're doing a great job. So for that reason, we're being recognized by the state for an outstanding job. So I congratulate both of you, Sue and Rick. Any of you want to speak? I think you should.
Just very humble thank you for the award, and thanks Mayor Santiago for saying those words. But just to give you a little history about how this all started, when I was a lieutenant, I started going to these Cumberland County Positive Youth Developmental Coalitions. That's a hard word to say, but from that, it's just like the mayor said. It's, you know, a lot of departments came together, a lot of cities came together, and it's the same program how our chaplains got started. It was just networking and thinking of ideas how to better give quality of life to your cities, and that's how it started. From that, that's how we rejuvenated our PAL program. our play streets came from. It, hooked on fishing, and it just keeps snowballing. It's a great way to keep on track and to come up with new ideas. So I always say I'm only as good as the men under me, and the two people that got this award today have made me very proud. And ever since I was able to make them school resource officers, I've never looked back and never had one doubt in my mind. I get so many complimental comments from these two individuals, and they are reaching our youth. And if Rick, if you want to just give a little positive talk about how our PAL is going and where we're at today.
Thank you guys very much, and this does mean a lot because a lot of the youth we're reaching out to and the community we're reaching out to, this award just validates a lot of the things that are going on in the city of Millville, a lot of the projects we're working on. As Mayor alluded, we're doing safe play streets in the summertime. There's 7 weeks that we close down a block so the kids have a safe place to play in the center city. Flag football, we had 80 kids last year. We have 100 kids this year. Basketball went from 35 to 120. Hooked on fishing went from 10 to 30. PAL is just growing, and it's growing because there's a large need. And I'm thankful that we have a department in the city that's allowing us to do some of the things we're doing, because without them allowing to do it, it just doesn't happen. So I really commend the chief for letting us go and running with it. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. See you Monday. Okay, Madam Clerk, are there any review changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, there's a few. Resolution number 9, we've increased the contract by $25,000 rather than $12,000 at the recommendation of our CFO. That's for Deerfield Electric. Ordinance 5, we changed the increased maximum to $139,647.75. And new business item 4 has been removed. That dealt with IT services. Resolution 10 through 13 have been added, which is authorizing the sale of land from our last land sale on May 1st. And also Resolution 14 was added, which is authorizing temporary delegation of appointing authority for the Water and Sewer Department.
Thank you. Can someone approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve and dispense with the reading of the following minutes and to proceed with the regular order of business, May 2nd, 2017, closed session meeting, work session meeting, and regular session meeting.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perrocca-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Move to pay the bills.
Second motion?
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perrocca-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes. I've now opened the comment portion of this meeting for agenda items only. Anyone that would like to address an agenda item, please step up to the podium, state your name and your concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please.
Good evening, Commissioner Angeline Broomhall, Millville. I have a question regarding some of these bonds. They're not clear what specifically it is that you're trying to buy.
I have it. And which one you talk about, the first one? I was going to discuss it further when we talk about it, but I can tell you now.
Okay, it's okay.
No, it's fine. On the 16-2, which is the ordinance one, that's the one. What we're going to be with the bond is a license plate reader for the police department, a new fire truck that's mandated by the state. They can only be certain years old. Unfortunately, ours are old. Various road improvements, and also improvements to some of the public properties. What we're going to do to get some of the funding, we went and we looked at the old bonds, and there was money left over in them, so we reappropriated so we wouldn't have to bond as much as we would have had to if we didn't consolidate things.
So we're using old bonds?
Partially. Some of it's going to be new, and then there were balances left over of 3 other bonds. There was balances left over for a street sweeper. There was something left over in some equipment that the fire department got, so we're going to roll that into to them getting the new fire truck also. And there was also some left over previously from when we purchased the ambulance, an emergency generator we didn't get, and we never did the first floor renovations. So all that was rolled back in so we could use that on public properties, more of what we need.
Okay. I do have a comment to make about some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
When we're taking bonds and not raising taxes, that's raising taxes.
No.
So it is, because my kid's going to have to pay for that one day.
No. We have it all figured out. We looked at it really closely. We also found another ordinance. There's 3 there that have to do with the bonding. There's another one for $125,000 that was just sitting there. We moved that over too. What's going to happen, the bonds that we have, they're going to be paid off in a couple of years. So they're going to do the bonds so that they're going to be lower rates for the first 2 years, and then they're going to move up to take the place of the bond payment. So everything will be the same as it has been.
So
there will be no increase.
So we're switching. What I'm not understanding is, why are we not budgeting for some of these things? Why do we keep using one credit card to pay the next? Because if I did that at home, I wouldn't. It only would last so long, right? I can keep paying one credit card with the next, but eventually that's going to burst, and I'm going to have to declare bankruptcy. And I'm not necessarily understanding why some of these things can be budgeted. I understand maybe the fire truck, although it's not this particular commission, but these are certain things we should be saving for and budgeting for. The LPRs, that's money that should have been budgeted in. If not, then we need to wait until next year. It's not an urgent thing. This is not a life-threatening thing. The fire truck, I can understand, possibly the road improvements, but again, these are things that I'm not understanding why we're not budgeting for.
If they were, go ahead.
Okay.
No. I was going to say, if they were in the budget, then the taxes would go up, because you can pay for it more over time than it doesn't raise the taxes.
And I don't have a problem with taxes going up. I have a problem with my grandchildren paying for these bills.
It's the same as getting a mortgage for a house rather than spending $125,000 or $150,000 for your house. It's the same principle. You have a certain life expectancy for all this stuff under the bonds, and that stuff has to last as long as the bond, and that's why you do it that way. Because if you did budget $20 million worth of bonds a year, if you have a year like that, you're going to see $1 million for the pipes. You're going to see, $1 million for equipment and fire trucks, et cetera, et cetera. Your tax rate would probably go up 25 cents every year. And then,
but with my house, though, I mean, I started with a very low mortgage, relatively speaking, and I'm going to pay 3 to 4 times the amount for my house when all's said and done. So that's not really that's not a good.
It's another
deal
tool.
For
it's
me.
another financial tool in the toolbox that we use to get our projects done.
And capital expenditures normally are not supposed to be paid out of the operating budget.
Bond law is created so that basically you're paying it during the life of the use. I mean, if you're going to use a fire truck for 10 years and you're a resident the first 2 years and they pay for it up front and you're not the resident the next 8 years, you've paid for something in taxes that you're not going to benefit for. So when the bond is issued, it's got a useful life, and that's how many years you can borrow for. So if it's fire truck is 10 years, you can borrow the amount for 10 years, and it's paid 1/10 over with a percentage. But right now, the interest rates are favorable, so it's a good time to actually set this kind of financing up.
And that voice you're hearing is Regina Burke, our administrator.
I just wanted to. I still think it's just semantics, but I just wanted to share my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Ralph Lane, Millville. Questioning resolution item number 6 and number 7. Number 6 is saying that we want to add some more money onto that contract, not to exceed $135,000 total. Does that mean we've already spent $100,000 on that?
Mr. Lane, I had a problem with that, and Regina's the best way to answer that, because I saw the same thing, and I questioned that today, just before we came on. So, Regina, can you explain that, please?
Historically, the city budgets $50,000 a year to do street patching projects. We usually go out to bid once a year, but the bid is always written so that we can allow to extend the bid an additional year. 2 years ago, our Briscoe won the contract. It's a $50,000 contract. We spent the $50,000. We extended it an additional year, and because a lot of our patching work has been done, contracted out during the last 2 years, we went through the money. It's budgeted each year to $50,000, so there was an additional $35,000 put on to get us till June of this year. We have a new contract in place in June. Original agenda had the new contract, which is going to Ricky Slade. It is $50,000, but we're only certifying $15,000 of the funds because we can only certify the funds that are available in 2017. If our Briscoe doesn't complete what the funds we've given them by June 17th when their contract is up, that will be canceled and it'll be added to the Ricky Slade contract so the funding's available. The way the contract's done, it's done by piecework for each patch and each asphalt they use. We can increase over the year if you want to go up to $150,000 because we decide every street needs to have patching and we found funding, we can increase it. But the contract is just actually for the work. So it went to $135 because it was actually a 2-year contract, and that's how much we've spent during the last 2 years.
Well, that raises another question in my mind. So we're spending another $35,000 up to for a period of 1 month, and then we're going to turn around and award another contract for $50,000 or $15,000 up front. So why could we just wait a month on this and let the new contract?
Because it's
take care of it?
potholes.
Well, that's pretty easy. There's a lot of stuff that needs patching, and I really don't want the residents of Millville damaging any more tires, breaking any more cars. I want the stuff fixed as soon as we can get it fixed. So that's why we're doing it that way. There'll be plenty of patchwork left in the middle of June. Believe me, we have plenty of holes to patch.
And we're getting a lot of claims now, too.
Yes, correct.
They're coming in from
in one area we had 6 flat tires in like 2 days, and we're paying for all that. So we're going to get it fixed as fast as we can.
By the looks of it here, we're going to be paying $35,000 for a 1 month period, and then we're going to go $50,000 for a year period. The math doesn't add up.
Mr. Lane, I'm sure we're going to exceed the $50,000 probably when it comes down to it.
Obviously, we did
The bottom line is we're going to get the holes in the roads fixed as fast as we can get them fixed in order to service the residents. I don't care who gets the money to patch the holes. It's not my monkey, it's not my circus as far as who gets the contract. But the bottom line is the stuff should be fixed, and we fix it as fast as we can, and this is how we do it.
So in the next 30 days, we should see our Briscoe out there.
You're going to see him out there a lot. How much he's actually going to get done is going to depend on a lot of things, including the weather. That's the way it works.
Okay, well, we're not going to get anywhere on that, so let's move on to the next item. The one regarding the land sale, okay? Seems awful funny that the judge made a decision on Friday afternoon. Here we are on Tuesday evening, popping it on the agenda at the last possible minute. I thought all agenda items had to be into the city clerk's hands by a deadline the Friday before to be put on the agenda. Seems like we're rushing into this.
The land sale that was dealt with on Friday afternoon is not on today's agenda.
What? May 1st, isn't it?
No, that's another land sale.
We held an additional land sale on May 1st. There were 10 properties for sale. 4 of the 10 were bid on. The other 6 were not bid on.
So
we had it on the agenda. It was published for the work session agenda. We discussed it at the work session, and the resolutions were completed depending on how we decide. If we decide on the work session we want to vote on it tonight or not.
So this is not the land sale from the previous one?
The previous one, the judge decided that land had to be transferred over because the judge's decision was that Brian Gifford gets the land. There's no resolutions that have to be voted on. That will just be taken care of.
And we need to approve these because unlike that particular situation, these bids were under the 20% of the assessed value that was set forth in the notice of sale. So that means it has to come back before the commission, then the commission decides yes or no.
On the ones that were on May 1st?
The ones that are on the agenda.
For tonight?
Right, yeah.
And how many were sold on May 1st?
4 out of 10. There were 10 offered for sale, and then 4 of them sold.
Okay. So that brings me, well, no, I think I'll save that for later on in the evening. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
sir.
Seeing no one else, I clean the public. Someone? Oh, okay.
George Cooper, Millville. I'm looking at the resolution concerning the chief's salary.
Yes.
He may deserve it. I hope he gets it. How much is he earning now? We're talking about going up to a maximum of 139,647 and change.
If I can explain why we're taking it to that maximum, right now we are in negotiations with the supervisors union. At the end of that, they're going to have a raise. I don't know what that raise is going to be. That's going to arbitration.
That's why I'm curious.
Well, so
because
what
it's
we
a
have to
large
do,
sum.
the chief hasn't been awarded a new contract yet. But what we do is that when whatever the new contract for the chief is going to be, it's going to exceed our current salary ordinance. So we're merely making the ordinance get in shape for whatever the contract is.
So in other words, if he's making 100 now, you can go up to 139. That's what my question
Well, we
was.
could negotiate it up there if we wanted anyway, and I don't recall how much he's making right now. It's public record.
Well, I'm sure that he's making more than the basic amount. He's got longevity. He's
Well, he's 40
years.
At 120 something. I don't recall what it is. I think. Do you remember what it is, Regine?
His base is $120,196.
That's his base plus longevity, correct?
Plus longevity.
Plus he gets longevity.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? I close the public portion part of the meeting. Madam Clerk, old business, please.
Yes, Mayor, we have a report from Regina Burke, QPA, regarding bids received for the project known as 2017 Street Patching and Utility Opening Repairs on March 30th, 2017.
Move to receive and file.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perricka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Hold on a second. Petitions and letters, please.
Yes, under petitions and letters, we have Target Millville Urban Renewal LLC, Target Corporation Report of Audit for the fiscal year ending January 31st, 2016, submitted in compliance with the financial agreement.
Move to receive and file.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perricka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Reports of commissioners. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, Mayor. The Department of Public Affairs, along with the Recreation Department, are continuing with the board and secures and the lawn cutting and yard cleaning. It's a big task to try to keep the city clean, but we continue to do it. That'll be all for now, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Sui.
Sure. First, the events. We have the community garden. And during Family Day of Services, Saturday, May 20th, from 10 a.m. to 2, we'll be planting our fruits and vegetables for the 2017 growing season. And also would like to thank Espomo of Millville for donating an entire pallet full of potting soil. The Home Run Derby is Sunday, May 21st, 5 p.m. at Rob Shannon Sports Complex for boys and girls ages 7 to 12. And the Senior Barbecue. Registration for the barbecue starts May 1st, which means it already started, and it takes place May 26th, 11 a.m. at the Elks. To register, please call the Recreation Department at 825-7000, extension 7394. When I printed this email at about 1 o'clock, there were 40 seats left. The Millville Air Show, it's going to take place May 27th and 28th. And for tickets or more information, visit the Air Show website, millvilleairshow.com. The Holly City Walking Club, every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30 at Lakeside until May 30th. The Fishing Tournament, June 10th, 9 a.m. registration at Union Lake Park. Play Streets, as Officer Cott spoke about, starting July 12th. Also, Community Day is scheduled for September 9th, 12 to 3 p.m. at Buck Park. Streets and roads. We're done with the loose leaf collection, and now all leaves must be bagged. Brush collection resumed on Monday, May 15th. And as many of you know, there's a high volume of potholes due to rainy weather, making them worse, and we're filling them the best we can. Streets and Roads came in at 4 a.m. Tuesday. The guys volunteered to do that, so I want to give them a big thank you so they didn't interfere with the traffic patterns to repair a sinking storm drain on Bluebird Lane, and coordinated that with the Department of Transportation, and that was completed that morning. 10th and F Street permanent hot patch was complete. The road repair in front of 51 Pareca Drive completed. Depression on Carlton Avenue repaired. Depression on Dorset Avenue repaired. Road repair at 9th and Vine Street complete. Sinkhole on Mulberry Street between 9th and 10th Street was repaired. Sinkhole at North and McChesney Street repaired. Riverside Drive road repair at Riverside Condominiums completed this morning. And street sweeping will return to normal on 3rd Street once paving is complete. Now, during tonight's meeting, I'm going to give you I got thinking today about one of my college classes. And I'm going to give you a word and a definition as it's defined in psychology. And I want you to listen throughout tonight's meeting and consider yourselves. Consider this word and this definition for yourselves. And it's projection. Projection is a theory in psychology which humans defend themselves against their own unconscious impulses or qualities, both positive and negative, by denying their existence in themselves while attributing them to others. You guys think about that later on, and you'll see how it ties in. Progress.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ennis.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Commissioner Perry.
Yes, as we talked about in the comments about the agenda, the land sale results will be voted on tonight. 4 out of 10 properties were offered for, 10 were offered for sale. We only received bids on 4. So the commission will vote on whether or not they wish to accept these bids. And also of note is the judge did decide that the last land sale was valid, so those properties will be turned over, and that should let the city receive about $60,000 in revenue. So that's a plus for the city. The tax sale for the liens is now done for non-payment of taxes or special assessments or water and sewer bills. 109 properties were involved. Of those, 189 were purchased. According to the tax collector, that is a new record. She's very proud of that, and they worked very hard on that. The city will recoup about $1 million in unpaid liens, and so that's a plus. And they will make a profit on the sale of $30,000, so more revenue for the city. So another plus. Got to go to several special events over the past 2 weeks. One was the Wall of Fame at Wood School. I believe, Mr. Russell, you were on that Wall of Fame over there also?
You climbed down, huh?
So what happens is they vote on individuals and they get added to the wall at Wood School. It was a little bittersweet because Wood School will be closing, but it was a great event, and it's really a tribute to the teachers over there. They work very, very hard, and they were very dedicated. The students are well behaved whenever I've gone in the school, and it was a very nice event to see. There was also a reality fair at Memorial High School, and that I was very impressed by. The credit unions went in, and it was to teach the students about how to make a budget. So they got to pick a career, they got to see what their salary would be, they got to get their taxes taken off the top, which was a rude awakening for them all, and then they got to decide where they could afford to live, what kind of car they had to drive, how to pay for groceries. So it was a really good event, and I think it's something that all the students should go through. It gives them a real eye-opening of what the world is like. There was also a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Commissioner Davis was there also for a nature trail that they put in. That was a great event. It's a very impressive undertaking. It took them a long time. I hope everyone goes out and walks on it. It is free, so you can go in there without paying the admission to Wheaton Village. And with that, Mayor, progress.
Thank you. I do have a... Oh,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
No,
I
go
have
ahead.
to receive and file the tax collector's report for April 2017.
Second?
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perry?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes. I have a report from Chief Lippincott in reference to the summary of activities for the Millville Fire Department. Total emergencies responded were 97. Total fire calls for 2017 are 368. Breakdown for the month, fire calls, structures, and dwellings were 8. Multi-fire, 0. Fire calls to a vehicle was 1. Fire calls, brush and trash was 5. Rescue motor vehicle accidents were 25. Hazardous conditions were 4. General service, assist the public were 2. Good intent was 7, and false alarms were 28. Total man hours for emergencies was 335. hours. Work details 3, training 1, fire prevention, smoke detector and carbon monoxide detectors inspection for the month were 32, year-to-date 99. Fire safety permits issued were 1, year-to-date 34. Life hazardous inspections for the month were 98, year-to-date was 176. So the fire department is staying very busy. Just like the commissioners have attended different activities around the city of Millville, we had one real great one last year that's been a tradition with the Millville Elks Lodge. Commissioner Davis, who's a member of, I don't know if anybody else is a member of the lodge, but on the behalf of the city, I'd like to thank all the members of the Millville Elks Lodge 580, especially Arlene Hickman and Rob Shannon. Throughout the week, they had activities for our youth. Throughout the whole week, it was amazing. We got to attend a couple of them. Unfortunately, Saturday was a soapbox derby. They couldn't do that because of the rainfall. But I'd like to congratulate everyone at the Elks and also the students and their parents that came out and joined us during those festivities, which was really, really amazing. Okay, with that, we're going to move on. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
We just need a motion to receive and file that fire report.
Fire report.
Make a motion to receive and file the fire report.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, item carries.
Ordinances on first reading, please.
Okay, our first ordinance on first reading is an ordinance amending the municipal code of the city of Millville, chapter 39, motor vehicle of traffic regulations, article 10, schedule 21, parking reserved for handicapped persons. So we're going to remove 318 Oak Street.
Yes.
And add 318 Oak Street. This is just to update, because we didn't have backup on the initial one, so we're just doing it right this time.
We're actually going to add east to it also,
Right,
East
and then
Oak
6
Street.
East Green Street.
6 East Green Street.
6 East Green Street.
Move the ordinance on first reading with second reading, I believe, is it June 6th? for the-
7th.
7th.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is a bond ordinance authorizing various capital improvements and acquisitions appropriating $1,270,000 to pay the cost thereof, authorizing the issuance of $1,206,500 of bonds to finance the appropriation and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds.
Move the ordinance on first reading with second reading on June 7th.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
I just have one other comment, because we did talk about it with the agenda part. There's a debt statement that's attached to that everybody can see. The city's debt with even the new bonds is 1.587%. You're allowed up to 3.5. So we really are keeping costs down and trying to maintain the budget.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
No.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 3 is a bond ordinance authorizing improvements to the municipal water utility system and appropriating $1,100,000 to pay the cost thereof, authorizing the issuance of $1,100,000 of bonds to finance the appropriation and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds.
Move the ordinance on first reading with second reading on June 7th.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
Yes, this is so that they can continue to do the infrastructure repairs that are ongoing in the city. As everybody knows already, a lot of the pipes are very old. There's been a lot of problems with the water main, so this will give them the funding to be able to continue to do that. And there will be no increase in rates with this bond.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 4 is an ordinance appropriating certain unexpended proceeds of the sale of previously issued revenue allocation district utility bonds to finance the cost of additional capital improvements and taking related actions.
Move the ordinance on first reading with second reading on June 7th.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
Yes, this is left over from bonds that were sold in 2011 to fund the revenue allocation district.
Of the bonds that they originally, which is in the $8 million area, they did not spend $125,000 plus. That's been being paid interest on, and it's just sitting there. So we've taken that, we've reappropriated, so we can use it against things that we really need to spend money on and keep our costs down.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
No.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance 5 is amending the salary ordinance to amend an existing title's minimum and maximum compensation for the following: police chief with a minimum of $70,000 and a maximum of $139,647.75.
Move the ordinance on first reading with second reading on June 7th.
Second motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. So moving into resolutions. Item 1 is a resolution authorizing special assessment of municipal liens for certain properties due to expenses incurred by the city of Millville relating to board and secure plus administrative fees in accordance with Chapter 11, Article 6 of the Municipal Code.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments? It's 4 properties, I believe, right? It's 4? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution supporting the click it or ticket seatbelt mobilization of May 22nd, 2017 through June 4th, 2017, both locally and nationally.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Wear your seatbelts. Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing change order number 1 for project entitled Wastewater Treatment Plant Phase 2 Upgrades, project number S340921-07, with Worth and Company Incorporated for an additional amount of $70,284.
Move the resolution.
Certification.
No, I don't have it.
Which ordinance is it?
It should be in front of Commissioner Sui.
Yeah, I'm looking for the $70,000 one.
Resolution
2. There it is. Second motion, I have certification of funds in the amount of $70,284. Signed by Marcellus Shepard.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution authorizing adjustments in the tax and utility records.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 5 is a resolution authorizing special assessment of municipal liens for certain properties due to expenses incurred by the city of Millville relating to cut and clean of properties plus administrative fees.
Move the resolution.
Who is that?
One of you second it.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 6 is a resolution authorizing increase in amount of contract with Arbrisco Enterprises Incorporated for street patching and utility opening repairs in the amount of $35,000 for a total contract amount not to exceed $135,000.
Move the resolution. I have certification of funds in the amount of $35,000 signed by the Chief Financial Officer, Marcellus Shepard.
Second motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca?
Abstain. Or recuse myself. I don't know which is more
Recuse.
proper. Recuse is better.
Recuse yourself.
Okay. Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 7 is a resolution authorizing award of contract to Ricky Slade Construction Incorporated for street patching and utility opening repairs in the amount of $50,000 for a 1-year contract beginning on June 17, 2017.
That should
Move the
be an
resol-
amount not to exceed $50,000.
Say it again, please.
Okay,
That should
in the
be-
amount not to exceed, excuse me.
15?
50.
50.
50.
50,000. She left out the not to exceed.
An amount not to exceed 50,000.
Okay, move the resolution on certification of funds in the amount of $15,000 signed by our Chief Financial Officer, Marcellus Shepard.
Second motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 8 is a resolution authorizing temporary delegation of appointing authority for the Water and Sewer Departments in the absence of the respective department's commissioner.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
Yes. This was necessary because there is an employee that is facing disciplinary action, and it has been impossible to get Commissioner Ennis to sign any disciplinary paperwork. My understanding is, and I won't speak for him, he can explain it why he wants, that he doesn't want to get sued. It's unfortunate we have to do this, as well as it's unfortunate that I have to respond almost a couple times a week, 3 or 4 times a week, because of Mr. Ennis' unavailability for water and sewer problems. That's all.
If I may make a comment, there was a suggestion, I think I had a meeting with the mayor and Commissioner Ennis. The mayor would be willing to act as the backup to Commissioner Ennis's department. The resolution could be modified to include that if the commission so desires.
Say that again?
The mayor's willing to act up as the backup to Commissioner Ennis's department rather than Commissioner Sui, rather than you.
Well, I don't mind doing the backup part, but I do wish the guy would come to work sometime. So I'm not interested in modifying the resolution.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I like to speak for myself. As many of you know, the policy that Millville currently has for commissioners getting involved with disciplinary action results in lawsuits and results in grievances and results in retaliation, sometimes encouraged by other fellow commissioners. For that cause and for that reason, yes, I intentionally refuse to get involved with any matter that could result in another lawsuit. Millville's had enough lawsuits, and I don't care to be involved in any of them provoked by hidden agendas. So Mr. Sui is always, it's always interesting how he says things and how he words things. But for the record's sake, it's not that I'm unavailable. I just don't want to see the taxpayers continuously having to pay for lawsuits that is sometimes encouraged and provoked by other commissioners who have hidden agendas. Thank you, Mayor. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Aye. Go ahead, Commissioner.
The problem is sometimes discipline is necessary. Sometimes it results in lawsuits. Sometimes it has to be done to save the taxpayers' money. And in this case, by not having discipline done in a timely manner, it has cost the city of Millville several thousands of dollars. So in certain situations, it is more beneficial to chance a lawsuit and do the right thing and save the taxpayers' money. And that was what not was done, and that's why we have to take this course of action this evening.
As of this evening, I will take over those departments for Commissioner, and I'm not taking over, I'm a backup. I'll have Dave there if I need some, if I have questions and answers that I need to get from Dave, or also Commissioner Sui, because he has experience in those departments. My goal is to have the city run fluid.
Point of order, that's not what the resolution
If I may,
says.
as the resolution, I know we talked about being the backup, but the resolution as it's drafted does transfer to you the appointing authority, so you
Well, I want the public to know that I'm doing this so that we can continue as a city government to run fluid, okay? So that the taxpayers don't have to pay for this. So we're going to continue running this department.
I need clarification. We're voting now based on what I'm understanding that the mayor is going to do the disciplinary action for the sewer and the water department. Is that what we're voting on?
That's right, and I understand that Commissioner Ennis is okay with that part of it.
Okay. And that's all we're voting on?
Right, unless
At
the
this point.
resolution is amended, that's all we're voting on. We're not changing the backup as the resolution currently is drafted.
Thank you for that
Thank you.
clarification. Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 9 is a resolution authorizing First Amendment to Deerfield Electric electrical maintenance contracts for an additional amount of $25,000.
Move the resolution, and I have certification of funds in the amount of $25,000 signed by Marcella Shepherd.
Second motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Camperi?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. All right, item 10 is a resolution ratifying sale of land known as Block 293, Lot 1, located on 604 North 3rd Street and consisting of approximately 0.05 acres to Joseph Christ or his assignee for his bid in the amount of $5,000 at a public sale held on May 1st, 2017 at City Hall in the Commission Chamber.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
Yes. When considering this resolution as well as the rest of the resolutions on the land sale, I hope that the commission considers the benefit to the city as well as any possible negative effects on the city. And the reason I say this is because the last land sale, we got sued, and I have a copy of the case in front of me, and part of that case reads, similarly, while the transcript presented more in the way of this regarding our discussions, more in the way of discussions regarding the reasoning behind the members' votes, it too failed to divulge a good faith basis for Millville's failure to approve the sale. Commissioner Ennis briefly referenced an unsettled investigation into trees being cut down by an unidentified party. The record also revealed his vote to be more of a personal concern for Commissioner Ennis based on lies and the things that have been said about him, rather than his opposition to preserve the best interest of the public. There is a suggestion that Commissioner Ennis sought a personal vendetta rather than focusing on the benefit of the sale to the city. Further, the record does not include good faith arguments, counter arguments to Commissioner Sui's statements in support of approving the sale. Therefore, the record does not present a good faith public interest that can validate Millville's failure to proceed with the conveyance of the lands it had advertised and auctioned to the highest bidder. So in short, what I'm asking you guys to do is actually consider the needs of the city and what's best for the city when you vote for this. Whichever way you think, I'm okay with that. But your comments should reflect the needs of the city, and you may certainly counter the argument that it's not a good thing, but that's what the motivation should be based upon. That's the judge's words, not my words.
Anyone else? No one else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
No.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Camperi?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 11 is a resolution ratifying sale of land known as Block 254, Lot 4, located on 402 North Sharp Street and consisting of approximately 0.05 acres to Hemchin Baran or his assignee for his bid in the amount of $200 at a public sale held on May 1st, 2017, City Hall Commission Chamber.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
Yes.
Roll- Go ahead.
This property, it's, I don't even know how this happened, but it's a side-by-side, half doubles. The attic belongs to one side, the basement belongs to the other side, the utilities are in the basement, but this guy can't get in. How we ended up with this property, I'll never know. But, I think we need to sell this. We need to sell this and get it off out of our inventory. All right, Mr. Swiggle, thank you. That's it, man.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Camperi?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 12 is a resolution ratifying sale of land known as Block 373, Lot 12, located on 501 State Street and consisting of approximately 0.08 acres to Paul Perecca Jr. or his assignee for his bid in the amount of $200 at a public sale held on May 1st, 2017, City Hall Commission Chamber.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments?
Yes, we have already had somebody that had moved into this house. Fortunately, they just left. They asked, and then we had to board up the house. So it would be nice if we could get rid of this before we end up boarding the whole thing up or it gets destroyed.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis? Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca Camperi?
Recuse.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 13 is a resolution ratifying sale of land known as Block 125.01, Lot 15.05, located on Bogdan Boulevard and consisting of approximately .27 acres to Paul Pareca Sr. or his assignee for his bid in the amount of $500 at a public sale held on May 1st, 2017, City Hall Commission Chamber.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Pareca Compari?
Recuse.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago.
Yes.
And we can actually just delete item 14 because it was actually already on the agenda as item 8. I did not realize that. That was my mistake.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
New business, please.
Make a motion to authorize a social affair permit on behalf of Wheaton Arts and Cultural Center to hold a social affair permit for the Festival of Fine Craft on October 7th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and October 8th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
So moved.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Pareca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Make a motion to approve the following Cumberland County Fair other events application. The Friends of India Society to sponsor a Kite and Color Festival on June 3rd, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Cumberland County Fairgrounds. Pending approval of the following: a letter of approval from the Cumberland County Fair Association, a letter of approval from the Board of Chosen Freeholders, and approval of certificate of insurance.
So moved.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Pareca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Make a motion to authorize the following special events on public lands application pending approval from all appropriate city officials and receipt of the required insurance documentation and approval of same. Relay for Life, sponsored by the American Cancer Society on May 19th at 10 a.m., May 20th, 2017 at 7 a.m., and May 21st at 9 a.m. on the soccer complex behind Lakeside Middle School.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Pareca Compari?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. We've now reached the public portion part of the meeting. Anyone who'd like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name, and address your concerns, and please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes.
We're all
Don't
rushing
fight-
up.
Don't fight for the
I
mic.
know.
Don't fight for the mic.
Jim Reeves, Packard Drive, Millville. Mr. Sui, you brought a question back to mind, not what I really want to talk about. I called Streets and Roads about 3 potholes. They fixed 2 of them right away. The third one still sits there. I'd like you to look into it. On Brandif Avenue, just south of Fulton Street.
Okay.
There's a hole there that's been repaired before. It looks like it's the start of a sinkhole. I'm not sure why, but it's getting bigger because I know if you hit it, you hit pretty good. So if you could have your department or whichever department it may belong to. I know it should be in the records.
We'll certainly
Okay,
have it.
thank you. Now, Millville Airport. I think it was brought up the last meeting. I was listening on TV. To get Millville Airport up and running, I think one way we can do it is find a better way to get in and out of the airport. Now, the best way to do it would be to have an exit off of 55, a bridge across and right to the airport. Well, that's never going to happen because now we have the Morris River is scenic and wild. So it would be like the Lord would have to come down and okay it. So that's not going to happen. Years ago, there was a plan. I believe the city and county both were involved in it. We now have signs coming off of Route 55 to go to the Motorsports Park. Go down Sherman Avenue to Nab Avenue, which was finally upgraded, which I complained about for years. At one time, when I was on the zoning board, there was going to be a project there where the orchard is, with a housing project and a road. That's where the road was going to go straight through there, cross Fairton Road, and come in on an angle on Buckshootum Road. If the county and the city could get together, find a way to buy the land and put that road through, I think we'd have a better chance of getting some businesses at the airport where trucks can get in and out. Right now, they have to go through town. It can be a nightmare for trucks, as you all know. Just something that if someone could get together with the county, put their heads together, different departments, maybe we can come up with a plan to get a better way in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
George Cooper, Millville. The last meeting, I brought up something concerning the scanners. During the last week or so, we've had shootings. We'd have our children removed from a ball game because we have shootings, we have other problems in the city. The scanner, when we first went into the police radios and approved roughly $900,000 and change, it was for police safety. I don't think having the scanners made a damn thing with the police, with police safety. Having the scanners, I think, is something of public safety, and of course, Mayor, you are public safety. When I brought this up during the last meeting, the only comments I had was from the police chief, who at least responded to it, and I checked on what he told me, and I found that it's not true completely. The police chief said that Vineland, Bridgeton, State Police, and Millville all have encrypted voice radio. I checked with ham clubs in this area who told me different. And I can't believe that all of a sudden all of these people come up with an encrypted radio. I worked on these things in the military, and this was years ago, and we were so advanced we could encrypt or decrypt with just a button action. It wasn't a big thing. People on Facebook have come up with situations where they're panicked because their children are out, and they don't find out about things like shootings until it comes up in Facebook, and nobody has a scanner. I want to find out what your comments. We have 3 retired law enforcement people. I'd like to find out why we are not doing this. Mayor?
Well, the band, you have to remember, the state has changed the radio bands throughout the entire state. Every municipality has to change. It was 700, 800, 900. The state police moved to something, then everybody else followed. We're actually up to date as to what the state wants. But you raise a good point. If, in fact, you can't listen to the radio transmission of the officers, we do have a Facebook officer that puts things on Facebook. Maybe that's what we should do. You have a great idea. Maybe as soon as it happens, we can put it on Facebook.
Except that how current is that?
It's current every day. You have
Every
a specific
day. What
sergeant
happens-
that does it. Chief,
what
am I
happens-
right or wrong? Chief, am I right or wrong?
Well, what we have to say, what we're going to be honest, we run a VHF system, okay? And through the narrow banding, we had to get off. What I'm saying
Correct.
about the officer safety part is that the VHF system we were on, you couldn't hear officers talk from place to place. So we went from the
Please.
worst system to the best. Now, the encryption, I don't know anybody who can get or who read our system. And I don't know, I can't say 100% about Vineland or Bridgeton, or not Bridgeton is the same one we have because it's the same system. We went up at the same time. But if there's a scanner out there that you can break their codes or whatever it is you want to call it, I'm not aware of it. But the way it's encrypted, it's not like the old VHF where you guys could have got a scanner and you listen to it in your living room. It's just not that way anymore. But that was the reason we had to go off of it because we needed a better system. We just couldn't hear officers correctly. There was a lot of complaints, but one about a lawsuit, more about officers, you know, they're chasing people. We don't even know where they're at sometimes. And we got the disc and we showed it from radio dispatch and we gave it to the commissioners and they made a decision. It was a very costly decision, a very costly bond that we had to do. But it was in there, they looked at it, they saw it was a concern, and that's why we got the system. So I'm hoping I'm better in your question, but it was not designed to phase out people who have scanners at home. It was not designed for that at all. It's just for officer safety, and it does come encrypted.
Chief, can we do the Facebook thing, though?
Can I make a suggestion? What do you want to do with Facebook?
Right, they put it on Facebook.
You're
Mayor, may I reply to the chief?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Cooper.
First of all, there are new scanners. They're very costly, but they will deal with that band. In other words, it can be done. As far as the officer safety, absolutely. We needed the radios, and I was behind it 100%. I still am. But I do think that it wouldn't be so complicated and costly to take away the encryption, to decrypt this frequency. The old scanners, and you're right, they're worthless because you can't hear anything. But the new scanners, and they run like $500 or $600. And if somebody is concerned about their safety and they want a scanner so that they can hear what's happening, you say that we have a police Facebook and it's updated every day. It wasn't updated at 8:15 the other night when we had the shooting and children removed from a ballpark. And that really doesn't satisfy anybody. All it says is people can get on there and say, oh, look at how bad Millville is. They had this happen yesterday. That isn't what we want. We want to be able to know what's happening, when it's happening. And we have two other law enforcement people. What do you think about it?
Here's what I think. All right, first of all, sometimes communications need to be encrypted, hence the button when you were in the military.
Mhm.
And sometimes they don't need to be. So what we could probably do, and I don't even know if I don't think it's possible to turn it off on that particular system, but what we could probably do, since everybody has a cell phone, and I don't know how to do this yet, but I can promise you that we can check into it together, is send out text messages alerts. So if there's a shot fired at 8:15, at 8:16, hopefully you'll know about it, you'll know where it is.
That would be a
So
solution.
let me work on that solution for a while, and in conjunction with the police chief and the director of public safety, and see what we come up with.
And we can also do the Facebook page, because I know
you
Sergeant
can
Matos
update
is
that,
on it
and
every
we can
day.
Send that alert out right away. You know what I mean?
And I just want to touch on the Facebook page. Guys, the Facebook page came out because we wanted to inform the public of what we're doing. Because you got to remember, going back, everybody said, well, what are you guys doing? What's the police department doing? We're doing this as, showing you what's going on with PAL. We're showing what's going on with some events. It wasn't designed to give you a play-by-play of what the officers do going to call. We just don't have someone that can do that all day.
Understandably.
But I just want you to understand one thing. As far as being things in place, if we do, God forbid, have a shooting near a school, we have lockdowns, we have all the protocols, we make the notifications. Now, no, we don't make a phone call to a residence that the shots fired was in front of. I mean, we just don't do that. But, we do in our best interest to make the public safe. If there's something that's out there that's unsafe and we know about it, we will make the public know.
I think major incidents is what we're looking for. Does that answer your question, Mr. Cooper?
It does to a degree, if we follow through on it.
Yeah, we will.
Commissioner Sui,
We will.
he
We'll follow
had
through.
a good comment, and I think if you can bring us up to date on various meetings, it would be good.
I'll start checking into it. It's going to, admittedly, it's going to take me a while. I got 30 projects going on here. So maybe I could use your help on it if you're going to be up from fall for a while.
I would be more than available.
All right, we'll be giving you a call tomorrow.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
Newell Brannon, Millville. I'm here representing Millville Soccer. On May 20th, this Saturday, is our last recreation games with all our rainouts. All of our families are in the audience here, and coaches. So we're going to get in our 9th and 10th game, week 9 and 10 in. But it's our family fun day, so 10 to 2, everybody's invited to come out. There's some extra games and some fun activities for families. We want to thank our 24 business sponsors that we had this season, and we hopefully they can renew for the upcoming season, because without them, we don't have a season. And registration for the fall season. So once one season ends, the next one starts. June 1st, our registration will be open online, millvillesoccer.com. So anybody that has anybody ages 4 to 14 or older for travel players can register for the upcoming fall season. Thanks.
Thank you, Noel.
Mary Messick here of Millville. A few things. One, I've stood at this podium for just about 21 years now, on and off. Stated it many times. We need a neighborhood watch. 7 years ago, Millville's commission reactivated the Neighborhood Watch program. I've stood here multiple times, said it multiple ways. We need to be involved, which is true. That kind of works in with keeping people informed. It doesn't cost anything. You know what's good in your neighborhood. You know what's normal. You know what's not normal. Call it in. That's all you're supposed to do, is watch, observe, and report. That's it. Nobody's asking anybody to try to play the Lone Ranger or Superman. That's an impossibility. The thing that gets me, I've been in this city for 22 years. I've lived on the street that there was a shooting towards last night for 21 years. This is getting ridiculous. That street right there, for the past 2 commissions, except this commission, has referred to my address as the front line of the war zone. I've seen in the course of time, I've seen my front door plastered on Channel 6's news with crime tape. Not that my house was involved in it, but because it was in that area. My street alone, just in from last year to now, I've had 6 incidences, and 4 of them were in broad daylight. 2 of them were at nighttime. How much more am I supposed to endure? I have grandkids. My grandkids aren't even allowed to come visit me because their parents are scared to send them to my house. What more can we do? I've done all that I know how to do. Now I'm asking this commission, give me help. And as far as last night goes, I give our police department a whole bunch of credit, because within 2 minutes after they were on scene, they had 2 in custody. That's doing something for this police department. But what more can I do, and what more can we do together? Tell me. I thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Hello and good evening. My name is Eric Almodovar, and I'm a resident of Millville. In fact, I live directly across the street from the City Hall on Smith Street. The reason I'm addressing this council is because on Thursday, May 11th, I was walking my 2-year-old son, and he tripped and fell. While picking him up, I was stabbed in the hand with a dirty syringe. There's a problem. I was prescribed anti-HIV medication that I can't afford. For a 28-day supply, it's over $1,000. I was made aware of this gentleman that was going around collecting dirty needles. When he brought him here, he was told that he could be arrested for drug paraphernalia or something. Something has to be done. My kids play around this neighborhood. I have 3 boys, and they're everywhere. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Eric.
Dean and Ferrer, Millville. On a different note, I come a few times and I talked about the Cable Act, Comcast cable franchise thing. I spoke to a few people. I called and left a message for Commissioner Sui the other day, and it was like a little over an hour. I received a phone call back, which is great. We talked a lot over it. I know I'm understanding that it was another automatic renewal. I know something. Did we have a municipal officer that is in charge of that? I don't know who it is, but I think we need to look into that farther for the future or whatever. Because I still think number one, I want to know and how much does the city receive each year of the 2% that's in the contract. The Comcast is supposed to give the city 2% of their subscriber fees, and have they and do they? If they do and the city receives money, I mean that's a good thing. If we're not benefiting, we need to eventually look into something so we can open that competition up, so we would have that opportunity. Because I know some people believe that, Verizon or AT&T or nobody else can come in town. And I think that's really what happens. Because I think years ago I always heard that the Comcast had exclusive for cable, that was anything that was transmitted over via the transmission lines through all the poles. So there are some things in the act. I think it's in the municipal code, it's number 76. But I know that each school, each city building is supposed to have a dedicated line just for, that a free dedicated line. Libraries and places like that. So I like, eventually when we get through all the other, crap that's going on, which is more important, I would say, the safety and lives of people are well more important than us sitting back and watching TV. But we just want to know what makes it beneficial to have a franchise fee. Because, number one, Comcast, a year or so, 2 years, pulled out a location that we went to, which spells out in the ordinance and says they will have a local office. What does that mean? To me, a local office is a local office. Board of Utilities thinks that, because fine line, a local office can be 30 minutes away, 20 minutes away, or is it supposed to be in the city? But these are just little things that, as the attorneys know, whatever you can read, there's everything has a meaning. It may seem, we read it means nothing, but. So I think we should really look into that, and if anybody out there, and hopefully a lot of people are watching this, have a complaint, we want to see this. There is a place that we can complain to, the Board of Utilities, and that they need to be on their toes. But I just think, let's open the competition, or let's make sure the city is, and we are sure that we are receiving the 2% money each year. And hopefully, if they're not giving nothing, we need to go back, because it states right in there, the city shall receive, and bear with me here, and I think it's in there.
Regina Ms.
Okay.
Burke can answer your question.
At our last meeting, we had a full discussion about the Comcast situation. And no, we're not exclusive. Verizon could come in, but they'd have to build out infrastructure. I've been in touch with, I can't remember her last name right now, Nancy with the Board of Utilities. And during that meeting 2 weeks ago, I made it known to the residents that if they have any complaints with their Comcast service, they really should report it to the Board of Utilities, because they have a list of complaints and all. I was directed, and I did play phone tag twice, and I was off yesterday, slipped my mind today to double check on that. But we are trying to set up a meeting with Comcast just to address, they did tell us it's an automatic renewal, but we have to go through our ordinance, and we do have it out, and make sure that we have every dedicated line. And so we've decided as a commission to set up a meeting with Comcast just for a conversation. And I'm working with the Board of Utilities to set that up now.
Great. Like I said, if they're supposed to give us money, hey, we can use it.
Thank you, Dean.
Joe Sutherland, 51 Dorset Avenue. I'm here as coordinator of the Millville Municipal Alliance Committee, and to let you know our ball teams are up and running, doing well. We're looking forward to project graduation, which we help sponsor, and we're also looking at sponsoring the PAL Football League and Hooked on Fishing. And we're looking to end in our year ends the end of June, so we're looking forward to being able to help PAL and the schools with the programs that we put on throughout the year. And as always, we thank you for the support that you give us and the schools give us, because without that support, we couldn't do the work that we do.
Thank you, Joe.
Hello again, Rick Millville. Rick Cobb, Millville. I just want to go over a few things. There's a lot of good things going on in the city of Millville, and I do like to start off by thanking every one of you guys up there. All 5 of you guys at different times have reached out and helped, and been very encouraging with the things that the Police Athletic League is trying to do in the city of Millville. And I really want to thank Joe. In fact, Joe has helped us immensely over the last year or two, help with some of our programs. For those, the coalition that the chief was talking about is exactly what the movement we're trying to get to. there's literally about 50 different organizations that meet monthly to try to come together and solve the problems of the youth. And just even tonight, you know, I've heard the AVID program, some of the things they did, and that front door thing, which was amazing. And I think that's the course we're trying to move to. I'm finding more and more different organizations are coming together, which I think is the only way we can truly solve anything. So I'm encouraged by where we're heading, and I'm encouraged by the people that are out there helping, because I know I've seen it. I've seen a lot of people come forward, and I've seen a lot of people reach out their hand. Some of the other things we're going on, if you are interested in volunteering, like I said, we have grown beyond belief, beyond my imagination. But with that becomes volunteers. And as Newell knows, volunteers is sometimes tough to come by, as he's been in that soccer organization since, I think, 120 years now. We do have a volunteer social tomorrow night, 5 to 6:30 at the Cumberland County Improvement Authority. If anybody's interested, if you can spread the word. If you can't, you can reach me at the police department. Call me anytime. We're always looking for volunteers to help our city. A lot of the problems we have aren't going to be fixed right away. I know we're all trying, and we're doing a great job. A lot of it is generational. So until we can change the next generation and get them to have their change of thinking, we got a long road ahead of us. So if you'd like to reach out and give that helping hand, like I said, we have a social tomorrow. Our flag football opening day is May 27th, which these coaches, even though it's Memorial Day weekend, are taking time out of their lives to come and give a hand to these youth. Going into the PBA world, it's June 24th. Anybody can hit a softball or just likes coming out. We have a softball tournament, an annual softball tournament. I think we're in our 5th or 6th year. We raise approximately $1,500 to $2,000 to help organizations that deal with autism. The lowest I've raised so far is $1,500, and we give a different organization every year. So it's going to be Saturday, June 24th at the Rob Shannon Complex, if anybody's interested. We did mention Play Streets a couple times. We're there from 10 to 2 on Pine Street between 2nd and 3rd. I cannot reiterate this enough. If you come out during that Wednesday throughout the summer, you will see anywhere from 75 to 150 kids participating. If you have a good arm or feel like hitting the thing, sometimes you can even dunk me on different Wednesdays. So if you want to get your frustration out, I'm more than happy. And then for any golfers out there, this is out in the future, but September 23rd is our golf tournament for PAL. It helps us raise some money to keep the funds going and things like that. I would like to finish off with, hopefully, the chief has sent a few of us through CEPTED training. For those who don't know that, that's crime prevention through environmental design. And part of it is going into the center city. So I know, Commissioner Pareca, you were talking about doing some center city things, and with that front door painting, once again, the more different organizations that can collaborate, I just think it's a win-win for the city. So I don't know when we're planning on doing that. I know a couple of the captains are working into scheduling, but keep us in mind if we do get to that point, reach out to the chief and see if we're doing or what we're doing it. But if we do that, I think that just fits very well with some of the things you guys are doing. So thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Kim Cardy, resident, Millville. I just wanted to build on what Mr. Cooper was speaking about, and to say that it sounds at least as if there's some consensus among the commissioners and the chief that public information is a good thing, and keeping us informed of what's going on is something that you're not necessarily obtuse to, but we need to find the solution. So just a couple things to think about. You know, we're a 700 megahertz system, but there are companies and applications and process. There's all kinds of solutions out there, and they may not even cost us a whole lot. So one would be Broadcastify, which would allow us to broadcast the radio feed over the internet. I believe you could actually set a delay, and there's not a whole lot of cost involved with that. Motorola has a product called Crime Reports that would connect to the CAD dispatch that would allow you to do all kinds of things to put that information out into the public space in a way that's consistent with the Open Public Records Act, and also in a way that allows us to be informed and to build some transparency. And I think once we start building that transparency between the community and the police department, you're going to see a whole lot of gains in an exponential time frame. I think the Facebook page, there's a huge lost opportunity there. That page is not updated very frequently, and some of the times the information that's on there is not necessarily useful, right? It's somebody recovered a bike, and do we know who this belongs to, kind of thing. And I understand it's a manpower thing, so I get it. I get the limitations, I get the obstacles, but we have to find a way to overcome that, because we need information to keep ourselves and our families safe. You need us to have that information so we can help you do your job. We can help you on the investigation side. We can help you by getting tips. This is a mutually beneficial thing, so I would encourage you to close that gap and close it quickly, because the gains for you, for the community, for us as a city as a whole is really, not only is it a win-win, but it's really necessary. You want to build that relationship. You want us to stop coming up here, and I know the police department feels like, we hate them and we're mean and we're rotten, but that's not really the intention. The intention is we want to build that relationship. And whatever got us here isn't allowing us to do that. So we need to figure out how to level set, and transparency is a great place to start. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny.
Thanks, Ken.
Ralph Lane, Millville. Commissioner Sui, I had every intention this morning when I got up to come in here tonight and tell you and your department what a good job you did out on Cedar Street of grading and planting that road that was cut through there, okay? But then I pick up the paper and I say it was all for naught because the judge has ordered that the sale go through.
Well, our department did not grade that in there. So
Somebody's
you're
graded it and seeded it.
You're,
And
you're
I thought
misinformed. It was not our department.
I didn't say it was before. I just said
So you're
I
going
thought
to
it was a good
compliment
job.
me on it.
Well,
So I want to make sure you don't compliment me
it's
on
part
something I didn't do.
of public property, so I figured it had to be your department.
Well, okay, I understand your assumption now. Thank
Okay.
you.
Who else would go on public property and, it'd be like going in the city park and cutting grass for somebody,
Well, believe it or not, that's happened before too.
Well, I know. Happens every day. But then I see in the paper where the judge has said you got to turn the property over. Is the city going to appeal that decision? Is question number one, or are they just going to let it ride? If new evidence becomes available, okay, that may shed new light on why that property shouldn't be sold, would the city rescind it or appeal this decision? What's the city's pleasure?
The city has 45
At this point,
days.
Mr. Lane, there's a decision by
Yeah.
a Superior Court judge,
Yeah.
which I believe we need to follow. And that's why I agreed to it. At first, I
Okay.
disagree with it, but because the judge has made a decision, which we took it into the hands of the law, and he made a decision, I'm following that decision.
Can his
So if
dec-
anything else comes up after that, it's something that we may need to look into and then revisit.
So his decision, you're telling me, cannot be appealed?
Oh, I don't know that.
No,
I'm
they-
not sure.
What about our attorney?
The city could appeal the decision. Any decision can be appealed from. The city would have 45 days from the date that the judgment was signed to file an appeal. Now, there would have to be a legal basis to file that appeal.
Okay, and who would handle that? You as the city attorney?
I would be handling it, but I'd have to be authorized by the commission to file a
So-
notice of appeal and a case information statement.
So if evidence is turned over you in the next 45 days, or less probably, and you take it to the city commission, then they can authorize you to appeal it?
It's their call, it's not mine.
Their call, yeah. So but you would have to take the evidence to them, if it should come up.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, and I don't want to get into a lot of legal
Yeah.
nitty-gritty and niceties, but it would have to be something that's part of the record. And the record is what was made in front of Judge Raganese. So you can't just bring new information in and expect the appellate division to consider it. It would have to be part of the record below.
Understand.
That's
Thank you.
just one of those rules.
Thank you. Historically, when the city has sold property like this in the industrial parks, okay, they have required the purchaser to put up a substantial structure on that property with, like, in 2 years. Is that gonna be made part of the deed when the deed is transferred over to the successful bidder? Or is that just gonna be waved through like, you know, the rejecting of all bids?
Well, the
paragraph?
way this was done is the commission passed a resolution, and the resolution said that the properties, and I'm not sure which properties you're talking about. Are you talking about the ones that are the subject of the court
Nope.
proceeding, or the
Yes,
ones?
that
Okay,
property.
let's talk about that. The resolution said that the city reserved the right to reject all bids. It also said that the tax assessor and any conditions the tax assessor may impose in the notice of sale. And the tax assessor chose in the notice of sale or recommended, and this is what we did, I drafted the notice of sale, that all bids could be rejected that were less than 20% of the tax assessed value, and there were some other conditions too.
Does the tax assessor have that authority and ability to do that?
He did receive it by the resolution, and the judge found he did have it.
The judge found that
Yeah.
He had the ability to
Yeah.
do that.
And there's an unreported appellate division decision that was cited and made a part of that proceeding that agrees with that.
So is a copy of this decision available for the public?
Right here, you can
Yeah,
have
it
this
is. It is, Ralph.
Thank
You
And-
can have this one, Mr.
And Ralph, the other decisions available, and in that case, I think it was the administrator of some town, made some changes that were in the notice of sale, and that was held to be appropriate.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Have a good
Thank you,
evening.
Mr. Lane.
Good evening, Tim Cardy, Millville. I had a question about the bond that has the license plate readers, the fire trucks, the roadway improvements, and everything else. I'm going back to D. Purchase of equipment and other improvements to public property for $530,000. Is there any way that we can get a general idea on what equipment and what improvements we're getting since it's our money, or do I have to do an open request tomorrow?
You can do an open request if you want, that's your right, but I'll be sure to be more than happy to give you an idea. Included in that are monies for the first phase of the cameras that I talked about before. Included that are also a recycling truck that was destroyed in an automobile accident that was not our driver's fault. And other various pieces of small equipments and other improvements that are going to be done. Now, some of those improvements, since we realigned some of that from other bonds, I don't know what we're gonna need yet. These guys don't know what we're gonna need yet, but since we're already paying interest on it, we might as well use it for that. We have plenty of work to do, and we're gonna have to prioritize that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kevin Celta, Millville. First, I want to say thank you all for the job you do, because I don't think people realize how tough your job actually is. But with that, so I wanted to start off with that. I also wanted to thank you guys for letting the school come in and do some of their programs that they have running, such as the AVID, the Century 21s, the front door, all that, because that is good things that are happening in Millville that probably most people are unaware of it, even people who are greatly involved. And I also want to, the good things we do with the PAL and the safe streets and things of that nature. I urge the city to keep that relationship with the school tight, because just as the city is playing with a tight budget, the school system is also playing with a tight budget. And with their budget goes down, those beautiful programs that we just heard tonight could also collapse, and which would only give more unguided children in the area. So I like to see the city and the school work together, but I'd like to see that even get stronger. As far as the radios, that is a concern of mine also. We have a lot of good things in Millville, our parks, our riverfront, a lot of beautiful things, but we're getting overshadowed by the 5% of negative that happens in the city. Some of the safety concerns are a major concern. We buy our houses to keep our family protected from the environment of cold, snow, rain, what have you. But if we keep them safe there, but we can't keep them safe when they're out in the environment outside of our houses, what good is that of having the house? So it is a major concern that we increase our safety. On that line, we have a ballot coming up, can we not put a referendum on there for manpower for a certain budget amount? I mean, I don't know about most citizens, but right now, I consider my house useless because the only thing it's protecting is when they're inside. When we had a major incident the other night, and I did not know where it was happening, and my family was out and crossing through the area that was affected, I had to use multiple networking to try to figure out where it was so I can keep my family safe. That is unacceptable, period, bar none. I don't accept it, and I don't think most citizens do accept it. You have 5% of the citizens in Millville destroying it for the other 95%. I am asking you now, physically asking you, to make a referendum for the ballot for increased manpower for X amount of police officers. I don't care if it's 5, 10, 20. As a citizen, I'm willing to pay an extra $100 a year to make sure my family's safe. I pay for an alarm system. I pay for a house to keep them safe. We pay for fire things. We pay for all kinds of things to keep us safe.
That's right.
I think most citizens are willing to pay $100 to keep our families safe. And I guarantee you, you put on a referendum specifically for police officers hired for patrol, I guarantee you, you'll be surprised that over 90% of people would be glad to pay that little bit of money that it is. Second, we bond for everything. We bond for water repairs. We bond for, you name it, it's been there. I would like to see the police come up with a list of everything he needs, tools, deliver it to the city council, and see what we can actually bond to give him the proper tools to make sure my family's safe. Because I can tell you right now, me and many citizens like me are to the point that it's either flight or fix it, and the fixing has been coming. Every single person up there, number one thing, and I still have the newspapers there, was to fix the city, to get it safer, and it's not there yet. 6 months in, I came up and said that, and the reply was, well, it's only been 6 months. And my reply was, yeah, it's been 6 months. Well, now it's been years. My family is less safe, I feel now, than they were prior. We have made great steps. The housing, adjusting your housing for your population density, doing your rental density, starting the inspections, but it's not there, and it needs to be corrected immediately. So I'm physically asking you to come up with a ballot referendum and a bond to give the police department the right things to make my family safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Hi, Christina Ayers from Millville. Obviously, we have a very huge violence problem in town, and I'm just wondering, what are we doing to fix it? Because clearly, whatever we're doing is not working. We're going totally backwards. So that might be a question for maybe the chief to answer. It's just, I have a 5- and 6-year-old who are riding a school bus with 5th graders who are telling them how their aunt and uncle were outside and their friends are getting shot, back and forth. So I'm not sure exactly how to answer my child. I mean, I know how the police officers do come and talk about gun safety, so I don't really know how to direct a 5- and 6-year-old who it's becoming, the same people who are telling them their family members are getting shot, and it's gangs, and it's this, and it's that. So I know that you say it starts with the youth, and I know that we do have a lot of youth programs, but I graduated 10 years ago, and 75% of the people I see in the paper graduated with me, who are being shot and killed and robbed. So I don't really think that it's the youth. I mean, because if you have the youth going home to their parents who are the ones involved, obviously you know what's right and what's wrong, but what are we doing to fix it, to move forward? I understand more police, but they're going to do what they're going to do regardless of how many cops you have. The cops can't be everywhere. Once you turn your back, you're going to do what you're going to do. So what are we doing, what are you guys doing to ensure that we are moving forward and not backwards? Anybody?
Well, Christina, it's a popular question today. One thing that we can't do is change people's attitudes and what they're doing.
Right.
We can't predict what they're going to do. Obviously, that happens every day. The situation with your child and school on the bus, I report that to the school. You have to report that right to the school, because I think on a bus you should have separation of small kids with big kids. Yeah, they shouldn't.
Well, they're going to see each other in the bathroom. You know what I mean? They're going to cross paths
I
eventually.
I understand, but what I'm saying is that should be reported. As to crime, listen, these men and women on the police department are doing the best they can
I
to do
agree
what they
completely.
can. I believe it was Officer Cotta said, we have to change this generation. You know, these things are happening. We can't be everywhere. They can't be everywhere. What I like to suggest is that, listen, everybody's talking about neighborhood watch. Mary comes up every meeting and says about neighborhood watch. You don't need a neighborhood watch. Just pick up the phone and call the police. Call them when there's something going on in your neighborhood. You know, that's what we need to do. We need to pick up the phone and start calling.
So if we pick up the phone and call, that's going to, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing to stop this? I mean, I understand we can't be everywhere. I am not against the cops. I mean, I have plenty of friends and family that are in law enforcement. That's not it. But Millville has a terrible, terrible reputation. You know, I have friends and family that don't even want to come visit, and I live on a decent, part of town.
Well, we can't throw up gates. We can't
Understood.
build walls.
So what are we doing, though?
Well, what we're doing, we're getting the police department the tools that they tell us they need. We are doing that. Not as fast as I like, but we're doing that.
Okay.
In addition, the cameras should help with that. All right, the license plate readers should help with the solving of the crimes. If we can solve the crimes, and they're pretty darn good at solving them, they pretty much get everybody that ends up doing the shooting. So they're
But then they're
pretty
right
good at
back
that.
on the street.
Well,
8
there
days
you
later.
go. That is my next point.
You know what I mean?
That
it's
is the
same
part-
names over and
Correct.
over and over.
And that is the part that is beyond our control, and it's beyond their control.
Something has
And
come
again,
in new in the justice system. It's
when you
called
look the Bail Reform
bail
Act,
reform.
look at that. When your state legislators want to change the state laws to make it easier on criminals, look at the consequences that you have. It's nice to rehabilitate people. You're not going to rehabilitate all of them. So, keep on our backside. We're going to keep doing what we're supposed to do. But start getting on their backside, because when it's going to start costing them their jobs, as we get threatened with our jobs basically every 2 weeks now, that will help, and that will help us. And if you can come up with an idea that we can pass a resolution to support what you're saying and send it to them, I'm pretty sure you get the votes.
There are a lot of moving parts to fix it. So we have cracked down on code enforcement. That's a big help. We've cracked down on rental inspections. That has helped.
But nothing has helped. We're so much worse now than we were 6 months
That's
ago.
not true.
disagree.
I'm sorry.
I
as
disagree.
far as the public is concerned,
As far as the public-
I know. So I think that what the community thinks is a very important part of it. What we think and what we know, it is 200% worse now than it was 6 months ago. So if we're not sure of the status, if it is getting better, then we're totally blind to it.
You're not totally blind to it, but I think a lot of negative publicity is put out there. We have increased funding to the walking patrol. I'm told they're going to they're going to set a set schedule for the walking patrol. I'm told that they're going to start cracking down on curfew violations. That will help. We also, the statistics that were given at the last meeting where we were in the top 10, I believe were from 2015. There's 2016 statistics that are out. Millville is not in the top 15. Violent and Bridgeton are. So they've made progress from 2015 in the numbers. So things takes a long time. I walk around in the neighborhoods. We go out once a month and walk around. There's a big difference that I see. The target houses that we were looking at, that we were trying to fix up when we first came in office in 14, much better. Perfect? No, by any means. But I see a big difference when we walk around. We're going to be working on more demolitions. Commissioner Davis is working on that. If he targets certain problem properties and makes smart use of the money, that makes a big difference. We cleaned up a big section of Mulberry Street by taking down certain houses in other areas. Oak Street's still bad. There's other areas. We were talking about some houses tonight. So we are looking at those things, and we're trying very hard to fix it. But unfortunately, this has been a problem, and we'll use the 20 years in the making, and now we're trying to fix it. So we're chipping away at it, but it can't be fixed overnight. And I know it's horrible, and I know it's not safe. I mean, I witnessed a shooting with my son. I don't like that. I wished I never had seen anything like that. That's just part of the times that we're living in. You need to make sure we're working on the court system here in Millville. They're doing some things that we're not happy with, so they have a meeting to speak with the judge about that. So we're trying to do things to improve that, because it's all little pieces. So we could fix something. The police could do their job 100%. If they get in court and the judge downgrades the charges, they're out, and
Right.
it's not on their record. That's out of the police control. So we're trying to work on those things. So it's every little bit and piece. Every department can do something, and it might seem like, but we're trying to bring it all together.
If
This
I
is
may-
a unified, this commission here has supported that police department and the fire department 110%.
Oh, as do
I understand
don't-
what Kevin
that
Naselta
doesn't
said. No, I'm just saying, Kevin Naselta said that we need more cops. I'm with him. I want to buy him dinner tonight because what he said was it was great. Our officers are doing what they can do with what they have. And every one of these commissioners is going to tell you, we're for the safety of this city. Okay? We want this city to improve. It didn't happen overnight. But we are here to do the best we can and make the change. It's going to happen. It may not happen soon enough, but we're going to continue to do it.
Okay.
Christine,
if
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We have on the books, we have an ordinance that penalizes the excessive consumption of municipal services. It's a funny name, but the way it's supposed to work is if you have a lot of police calls and you have a rental, then you get fined. Well, it really doesn't
Gotcha.
work very well, and we've tried to make it work. Been very unsuccessful with it, and we're studying now an ordinance, and we have to see whether it would work in the city or it's appropriate for us. But in large apartment complexes of 75 units or more, that if their crime statistics exceed the statistics in the rest of the town by a certain percentage, then they would be placed on probation, and then if they don't clean up their act, at that point, they'd have to have private security, they'd have to have a camera system, and they'd have to have shot spotter, so that they would have to pay for it. So that's something we're looking at, and we'll see whether that works. I know the chief is studying that now, and I know that the mayor's been looking at that as well, but that's one of the things we're trying to do.
Great.
Christine, I just want to encourage you to keep coming. I see the sincerity in your eyes and I hear it in your voice, that you're not just digging for something to say, but you're concerned, and you should be. One of the things that I believe, and I've been involved with crime and gangs for 30 years in the city of Millville. Besides the mayor, I'm probably the only one sitting up here who has had a direct involvement and some training in how to deal with urban issues such as what we're dealing with. And we had a plan. When I first came in as city commissioner, I told this commission there's 3 things that you need. You need a vision, you need a mission, and you need to declare your values. Tell the people, announce who you are and what you're going to do. And stop referring to people as undesirables, because one of the things that hurts this city is we spend a lot of time talking about getting rid of people. But I'll be honest with you, I hear very little talk about how can we fix people. And until someone becomes brilliant enough and smart enough to start realizing that these people are not going to get on a train and go out of town, it's not going to happen. They're here, we've rented to them, we've made money off of them, we've taken advantage of them. I mean, let's just be factful. It's happened. And now the chickens have come home to roost. We have a problem. But we need to begin to look at how can we help people rather than making every meeting, let's get rid of these undesirables, because people have issues. They have issues, and I believe it's going to take people like you and a commission in the future that understands we need a vision statement, we need a mission statement, and we need a values. We need to give people a reason to pull up their pants. If you lift up their pants, lift up their dreams, their pants will follow. And it's going to take people like you. You're young, I see it. You're young, you're energetic. Don't lose your power and your fire. Keep coming and keep talking, because eventually someone's going to listen, and I believe it's going to take people like you who are among the indigenous people of the city to make the change that needs to happen. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chief of Police, Millville.
Hey, Chief, how are you?
Good. I'm just trying to bring some little bit of positive things to the city a little bit. I know last meeting we were here, we were upset about what the incident happened on South 4th. I'm pleased to announce that all those arrests have been made. We're looking for one more. And I got to thank the public.
Don't clap low.
But as Commissioner Suey did say, he goes, we don't have a problem. I'm very proud of our men and women in law enforcement. We don't have a problem with locking people up after they commit the act. And like I said before, I don't have that crystal ball. I can't read people's minds. but I couldn't be more happier with the work ethic. Last night we had an incident. I know a lot of people heard it, but I promise you arrests are imminent. We already have suspects. We already know some people that are involved with this, but we need the help of the public. And I was talking to Mary Ann Jordan just a little bit ago about our Crime Stoppers line. There she is, my sweetheart. We talking about Crime Stoppers, but I just want to make a public safety announcement. We have so many sources a way to give information to the police. Tip 411, or actually our city webpage has Submit a Crime Tip. You can email us. There's a countywide Facebook page. There's a lot of ways. That's not our problem, is getting the communication to us. So we do thank the public for doing that. The Tip 411 thing is a new thing for kids. They can just text the police department. It goes to certain people that I have designated in our detective bureau, so we can read those texts right away. Commissioner Perec had touched on something about Google, the 10 worst cities in the city of New Jersey, or 10 worst cities in New Jersey. I'm very proud of that. Didn't want to throw the other cities under the bus per se, but there is. Vineland, Bridgeton are in the top 10. We're not. We're not even in the top 15. Someone brought up a question last commission meeting about our UCR and our statistics. I'm here to tell you that we're in better shape than the other two counterparts, and I have the numbers to prove it. But that doesn't mean we're done. I mean, we have a lot more to go. To give kudos to this commission, I've told them our problems, our needs, and you guys have came up and helped us. I would love to have a narcotic group. I would love to have a street crime. I would love a community police unit, and I do what we have with what we got. So I am so proud of the guys and women that we do have. But I know there's a future ahead of us. I know we got 10 guys that we're going to hire, and that's going to help us tremendously. But I just want the city of Millville to know that we're not throwing in the towel. We're working. We're here every day. We're working hard for this community. We're invested here, and we don't like it any more than you do. And just, I like what, Mary Messick says. It's in front of her house, and she gives compliments to the police department for doing a good job. And instead of people getting up here and talking Armageddon, let's talk positive, okay? If you go outside, you see some trash, let's get out of that car and pick up that piece of trash and maybe help out the community just a little bit. Everybody needs the help. There's a lot of people to come here, like I said, want to talk about Armageddon and the bad things. There's too many good things in Millville that we're doing. So when you see a law enforcement officer out there, give them a love, give them a smile. It doesn't cost anything, and I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Christine, Millville. Couple things. One, I cleaned up a whole bag of trash yesterday in the alley over by my building. It's not my property, but it looks like crap. So it was a whole big bag of trash, just so everybody knows that. I did that. I wonder when the last time you got out of your car and picked up trash was. I'm not being disrespectful, but you're asking us, I did it yesterday. Two, Mr. Stewie, how come you haven't started the petition for the bail reform thing? You seem to know a lot about it, and most of Millville probably doesn't for whatever reason. Maybe if you started it, we would all sign it, okay?
Okay, I haven't started it because I'm awful busy with everything else. So I'm
we
sure
all
there's
are
somebody.
too.
I mean, everybody's busy. I understand.
But you
Commissioner,
have said
Commissioner,
twice that we
Commissioner,
can do it. So
can I- Christine, can I jump in? There has been a petition that has been signed that's going out through law enforcement and some of the politicians that don't want it. It's here, though. Unfortunately, it's here.
because he's told us
But
now
there
twice
is
that
there
we
is a
can start
petition
one.
out there. We're trying to stop it because what it does, if you don't notice, and the chief can chime in, you're taking a police officer off the street for a good 40, 45 minutes dealing with that defendant.
I know.
And
It's a shame.
there's a 7-step prong that you have to follow before you can put that person in jail. It's
a
just
shame,
unbelievable.
I know, and there's
So,
nothing
okay.
they can do about it.
Okay.
But that wasn't
I
my
just want you to know.
question.
Okay, I understand. Thank
If
you for
there's already a
listening.
petition, how come he doesn't know about it, and how come he isn't telling us to sign that petition instead of make up our own petition?
We'll get it.
Okay? Another thing, if he doesn't want to do his job, why does he still have it? Like, he literally just said, I'm not going to do my job, and somebody else has to do it for me. So why
Who
are
said
we...
that? Me?
Ennis. I don't,
Sorry, I
I,
had to step
like,
out.
if I, any job I was ever at, if I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do this part of it.
Okay.
We can't do anything about that. There's just a rule, if they miss 8 consecutive meetings, then he has to step down. Beyond that, it's up
So
to
he
the...
missed 4, but he came to one, so now he's back on.
It's up to, and it's up to the voters. So unfortunately, it's up to the people that put him in office.
Okay, so we have to do that in November, even though he said he's gonna leave anyway. So we have to continue to pay him and listen to a bunch of crap every meeting because there's nothing else we can do about it?
We are going to research a couple other things, but we've been looking, and unfortunately,
I'm not trying to be
No,
smart.
no, no.
I'm just saying.
And there is a law. He has to have a department, so we can't take away his duties. It's illegal for us to strip him of all of his duties.
Okay. So we
That's
just
the way-
all need to remember in November who wants to do the job and doesn't.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I asked you last meeting, to come up with some new idea. What in the last 2 weeks have you come up with personally that's a new idea that we're gonna research and do?
Well, the commissioner mentioned this earlier. What we have done is we started more patrols in the city of Millville. We're paying overtime. Am I correct, Commissioner? We're paying overtime and the chief. So we added more patrols on the street. As you know, you probably see more cops out there.
Yes, I have, but
Okay.
that's not really what I asked you. That's not like a new idea you came up with. Everybody's been saying we need more cops on the street for 2 years.
But we didn't have more cops on the street. We took people that were off.
But that's not
who are
a
now
new
working.
idea. I'm asking
it's
you.
an idea that we did
You
just now.
personally, not we. You, Mr. Santiago, what have you come up with in the past 2 weeks that we can try in our city, if
Ma'am,
anything?
Ma'am, we are studying that ordinance that I was talking about.
I believe you are. I'm asking him personally.
He's involved with it, and if the important thing is that if we did, if we did adopt an ordinance like that, and where there's a large apartment complex that has a lot of problems, not all of them do.
Right.
And they were required by the ordinance to provide private security.
I
What that would
understood
do for the rest of the town it would free up police officers so that they wouldn't have to be going back to this complex repeatedly.
Okay.
Again and again and again. It is a new idea. I don't know if it's something we can do yet or not, but it is something we're
And I
through the
appreciate
process.
that people are looking into that. Am I out of order by asking you?
No,
Was that
no,
your
go ahead,
idea?
keep
And
going.
did you come up with that in the last 2 weeks?
I think we do it as a group here.
Okay.
We're a
All right.
commission.
That's
So
what
we
I
do it
thought.
as a group.
My
LPRs,
last
that's it.
question. How many people in the last 2 years have been arrested for fireworks in Millville?
I couldn't tell you without looking at the data.
So you think there's actually people who have been arrested for fireworks?
No, I said I don't know unless I look at the data. I don't know.
But with such a big, horrible problem where every single day somebody doesn't know if it's fireworks or gunshots and it's always fireworks, how wouldn't you know how many people have been arrested for it? If that's like a huge problem we have in town, illegal fireworks going off every 5 seconds.
Well, I couldn't tell you that.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
I'm not going to be like that, I don't think. Marietta, Cedar Street, Millville. People are passionate because of crime. They're even more passionate today because kids were scurried off the field back here playing baseball. Kids ran home from buying an ice cream cone because shots were everywhere. Nobody knew where they were coming from. Nobody could tell them where they were coming from. No scanners. I do want to say that most people who get up here, they respect you, they respect the police department, and I think they deserve some respect back. What I see as these people stand here, and I don't come all the time, very busy, have grandchildren I take care of, I've got a husband who works hard, but I watch every week. And I see a lot of disrespect given to people that come up here who love Millville and are just asking for help. I see commissioners and people shaking their head, smirks on their face, telling them, you get out there and do something. What are you doing? You pick up the trash. You do this. How do you know these people aren't doing these things? A comment was made about me the first time I spoke, maybe the second time. What are you doing? I can give you a list this long, but I don't need recognition on what I'm doing. I do the stuff I do because I love the people of Millville. I want to help the people of Millville in any way I can. But I don't want you guys sitting up here telling me I can't stand here and say something because you think I'm not doing anything. It's not fair. The chief even says it. I think 5 times a month I buy an officer a cup of coffee using the Wawa. That's what I'm doing, among other things. So I just think that the people that stand here that are passionate enough to tell you, please give us back our city, please help our kids be safe, think they deserve some respect. Thank you.
Good evening, Angeline Broomhall, Millville. I just want to start off by saying I don't have the sweet, nice ways of talking like Kim does. But when I say my criticisms, I mean them constructively, and I don't mean them to be negative. So take it for who Angeline is. I've been watching the meetings. I haven't missed very many in the last couple of years, so it was hard for me to miss them. So I've been watching. There was a lot of comments made at the last one that I do want to go over. Some of them are to my neighbors, my community members, because I want you to know, there's a comment that young adults have nothing to do. I've lived in some of the nicest neighborhoods in New Jersey. I graduated from Middletown High School South, very upscale neighborhood. No one ever in my city held my hand to take me to the movie theater, ever. And I've lived in some of the worst cities in New Jersey, far worse than Millville. The city didn't do anything for me. This city's pretty amazing as far as that goes. And if any young adult is bored, feel free to volunteer with PAL, to pick up the trash, midget football, go to Shine, go to church. There's so many opportunities, right? So I don't buy it, and I'm bored. I don't like that. People aren't volunteering, like Marietta said. Don't clock me. Don't ask for my timesheets. I like the way Officer Cott addressed it right now. If you want to volunteer, we need volunteers, that's great. Don't ask me to pick up the trash because you don't know what I'm doing, like the chief just did. Well, go pick up some trash, go do something. No, you can ask me to join in, but don't check my timesheet. Now, we have this transparency issue, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. And it's dividing us. It's making us question our leadership in our police department. Not the intentions of our officers, but the leadership in our police department. The leaders. When we're getting inaccurate information, like, quote, a lot of inaccurate information is going on out there. Well, if you read the paper, we only get about 5 warrant arrests a day. That's all our police department's doing. If you go by that, do I believe they're doing more? Absolutely. Do I know what it is? Heck no. Quote, isn't it interesting that there are so many of those people that there aren't many of those people here? Who are those people? Who are they? That was a comment, direct quote, from our chief of police at the last meeting. Those people. Quote, isn't it interesting that there aren't many of, quote, those people here? You guys are all from the outskirts and other places. I didn't know anybody checked their driver's license on the way in through the door. I'm all about transparency. Body wire cameras was not in the arsenal. We didn't have the money for it. We were offered a grant from the state to pay for body cameras. So that information is not true. And the problem is when you're giving inaccurate or incomplete information, it's constructive criticism. If you give inaccurate or incomplete information, it breaks down the bonds of trust. I would love to see ShotSpotter. We just don't have the money for it. We tried for the grants. As far as I know, the only people who applied for the grants were the Housing Authority. The new radio systems do not have to be encrypted. The New Jersey State Police uses a 900 megahertz system. They do not encrypt all of their transmissions. Criminals can crack the encryption. It is a false sense of security for our officers. It puts them in more danger because it makes them believe that their tactical information that they're sharing is safe. You don't know who's in the back of a police car. You don't know who's in the police station who overheard it. And criminals can break the encryption. It's a false sense of security. The people who won't listen in are the law-abiding ones. What do you want me to do with Facebook? As with anything, I want you to research. Look at to see what other police departments are doing. Check out Franklinville. Check out Pleasantville. Check out whatever. I'm just randomly making up, towns in the area. But if you want to know what's successful with anything, stop thinking about it. Look. We have Google. It's amazing. There's just a world of information right in your pocket, right? Let's look to see what's effective instead of saying, well, I think this would work, right? Mayor Santiago, last meeting you said, you made a comment that said the state police don't want to work with us because we're all crooked. That's somebody told you that. How can someone come to you in a private conversation and tell you that? You said somebody had told you that, right? That the state police don't want to work with us because we're all crooked. If somebody comes to you in private and says that, why would you turn around at a public meeting and repeat that? That, again, breaks the bond of trust. Somebody spoke to you privately and said that, and then instead of doing that meeting like you said you were going to have with the state police and discussing it with them and having that private conversation and looking into it, you did everything but mention the person's name and blast them at the meeting. That, again, breaks the bonds of trust. And again, I'm not saying this to be an evil criticism. I'm saying it as constructive criticism. These are areas we can improve upon. We can't say, I don't see anybody from those neighborhoods. We can't say, well, somebody told me this and blast it everywhere what somebody said. If they want everybody to know, they can come up here and say it. You had said, Mayor, that it's great to see a group of people who have different ideas instead of going after one subject. I've seen lots of people give great ideas. I personally, myself, gave an idea here. Lots of ideas have come up here. I had mentioned about the alarm systems and changing our policies for alarm systems that would free up hundreds of hours in man time. And I never saw it go anywhere. Just saying, people do come up with other ideas. Commissioner Sui, you had made a comment, and I know you finished it off with a correction and backtrack of, well, not all people, but you made a comment that said most of them were probably raised by a single parent. I cannot tell you how offended I was by that. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Angelina, you have about 30 seconds.
Yes, sir. It's basically the needle exchange program protects more than just addicts from transmitting HIV and hepatitis to each other. It does affect all of us. When someone who's addicted has a disease, they may have a wife at home who doesn't, and it affects the rest of us that way. So,
Thank you, Angelina.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm fine.
Anyone else? Seeing no one else, I close the public portion part of this meeting. Comments of commissioners. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. Just one thing on the Bail Reform Act. It's a pretty complex issue. We all had an opportunity to vote for or against it in the general election in 2014, and unfortunately it passed. And when it passed, it didn't just become a law, it amended our state constitution. So it's very, very rare that you can amend an amendment to the state constitution. And when Mr. Stewie talks about contacting government officials at every level, they all need to hear from you. And that's true, because that's the only way that's going to get done. It needs to get back on a ballot in a general election, explain to people in the terms we all understand, not the way they normally write these crazy questions, and then vote it down. But it's going to take an effort from everyone to get it back on the ballot. And that's all I really had to say on crime and bail reform. You know, it's in all of our thoughts and minds, and we're all passionate about it. Shots woke me up out of a nap last night at 8:20, right outside my window. One of the many cool events that took place in Millville last week was Youth Week, and one of the events was the Youth Commission, and it often goes unnoticed. So I just want to give credit to the students who participated. It was a fun group for kids, and it was fun for all of us. We had fun with them for 2 different sessions, one on Friday and then another one on Tuesday. But we had John Brown from Wood School. He was the mayor, and the director of public safety. He was a real character, this guy. He ate a lot of pizza too.
He did.
Then we had Gavin Haas from Holly Heights School. He was the vice mayor and director of revenue and finance. He was a real conservative. He had a conservative message, keeping the taxes low, getting the most you can out of a buck. Some people accuse Suey of training him a little bit, but he denied it. There was Shazia Robinson from Silver Run School. She was director of parks and public property. Gabriel Burns from Rick Avenue School was the director of public affairs. Isabel Martinez from Bacon School was the director of public works. Brooke Joslin from Mount Pleasant School was the city clerk, and let me tell you, she was good at it.
Yes, she was.
Nobody else could have done what she did. She did a great job. The clerk needs a lot of credit for the work she does. And lastly, but certainly not least, was Carmela Perrin from Wood School. She was the city attorney. She was kind of shy, and she kind of just went with the position that unit doesn't interact as much. So she sat over there with a big smile, and we all smiled with her. And that was a really good night, and that's what makes you feel good about being on this side, when you get to participate in something like that. I mean, I sat over there for years and did what you guys do, and it takes a lot of guts to get up at that podium. And I appreciate it. I mean, it's a late night now. We're almost 3 hours into this, but better days are ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sewell.
Sure. I love this job. I'll tell you what, one person asks you what I can do, you answer, and another person tells you, why aren't you doing it? So, varying opinions. I try to give you guys help when you ask for help as to what you can do as individuals. I apologize for having to walk out and take a phone call. There's only 3 people I'm answering the phone call during a meeting, my wife, my daughter, and my son. Mr. Lane, I look forward to the day that you give me that first compliment. Here is that court paperwork. As for the activities during the week, the one that I enjoyed was the Mrs. Owens class at Holly Heights with the Legos. That's always pretty neat to see what those kids build. And what I found like most interesting out of all of it was the amount of research that those little kids did. I mean, there's first graders and they're doing this research and telling us stuff that, I didn't know all of it, and, myself and the mayor were there, so, hats off to Mrs. Owens and Mr. Gary Camp for doing that as well.
Volunteer.
Yep, as well as Mrs. Donateri for doing the musical part where they had danced to music class and they showed us a film of that as it related to history too. So with that, progress.
Thank you. Commissioner Comperi.
Progress.
All right. Listen, we hear what you're saying about crime. The police department's doing the best they can. We're going to continue to fight. I'm proud of this commission, the way we fight with crime. Not always we're going to have the right answer or the answer you want to hear, but we're not going to stop working for the people of Millville. So with that, progress. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
This meeting's adjourned. Safe trip home.